This is a joy getting live today. How's everybody doing? What's up, folks? It's Monday. Good old frustrating Mondays. We love them. They hate us, but we love them because we're the bigger person here. Not Mondays. Mondays are never big. They're small. They're puny. They don't intimidate us like they used to back when we worked the job and we dreaded Mondays. No, seriously. Who else here kind of like learns to hate Sundays because you spend all Sunday stressing about Monday, and then you're like, Monday's there and you're out of stress, so you don't really worry about it. That used to be my life. I remember the days. Anyways, folks, how we doing? Are we live? YouTube looks like it's struggling. Is Free Flight really still going? I did not know that. I thought it was over. I was totally telling people it was over yesterday. Shame, tomato. Notification gang, how you doing? How you be, everybody? Am I live? Why does it not say I'm streaming out on YouTube? There we go. There it is. Okay. Woo, Dante. What's up, Holston Coop? Good to see you. Good to see you, Anno. I love seeing you early birds get in here. Like that like button. I want to be 20 in 10 minutes. Let's go, revamp. I see you. Thank you for the help there. Talking with Chris Roberts about the implementation of xenomorphs. Yes. Yes. Why can't I hear myself so well? That's weird. I don't like hearing myself like this. Hold on a second. Wait for it. Okay. So, how's everybody's weekend? What'd you all do this weekend? Anybody play any Star Citizen? Or maybe some other games? I believe they were running Siege of Orison tests this week, right? Anybody get a good little session in? I still have not tried out that event, so I don't really know what's going on with it. I think I'm gonna wait until live, actually, and play it blind with my org, so we can have a little bit of better time doing it together. 07's in chat. I see it happening. How's it doing? How's it going? Who it been in? Joe, good to see you. Amex, how you doing? Lewis, Dronitar, Magyon, Dr. Polite, or just D Polite. I'm gonna call you Dr. Polite Gaming. Is that cool? Is that offensive? Any doctor's gonna like shut me down? What's up, Seth? Thank you for the confirmation I'm live. Played some Siege of Orison. How was it, Geek? You were playing in the PU, waiting for live. What are you doing in live right now? Anybody who's playing the live game right now, or I'm assuming you're playing all for fun, right? Most people who are waiting for money have just kind of tuned out or gone to the PTU. Morph needs you. Can you play some pod racing with him? What? What is Morph doing? He's doing pod racing stuff. I wasn't really planning on playing today, but if it's dire, if he needs a good crashing pod racer, because I will crash a lot. Nothing except being outside enjoying summer. Yo, can we get a freaking hand for Magyon? Getting outside. Not that you don't get outside. I feel like a lot of us don't get the opportunity to do that as much as we'd like. I certainly don't get to go outside as much as I want. So, cheers to that, buddy. That sounds like a good weekend. Johnny, how you doing? Marsupilami, how are you doing? You won the Marsupilami, you won an Aurora, or did you win an MSR? Either way, how's your ship been treating you that you won a couple weeks ago? I hope it's good. Not a doctor, just D. Yeah, but it's so easy to say doctor. I guess D is easier, right? Orison was poor this weekend. That's not a good sign. I'm sad to hear. I'm sad to hear that it hasn't been running very well. Grinding rep in live. That actually makes a lot of sense. Good call. Ace streamer, good to see ya. Welcome. Glad to have you back, buddy. I'm glad the power is working, and thank you so much for gifting out that sub to the community. Much appreciated, my friend. How's the heat in Turkey? Oh, it's not bad. It's fine. I got the window open. I got a little breeze coming out. Now, the people who are in the center of the country, I don't know about them. I don't think they're having a little bit of trouble. People in the southwest of the country, people on the west coast, but like, we're up here on the Black Sea. I've got the ocean, or not the ocean, but I got the sea right here, so we get like kind of a breeze coming off of it. So it's never getting really hot here until like late July, August. Even then, It's been a pretty light summer for us. You shall go outside in the final moments and let Tucson mummify you. You shall become immortal. You will become one with the sidewalk. Everybody remember when we get those heat waves as kids and you go outside and try and cook an egg on this sidewalk? That was me. I did that. Well, anyways, folks, for those of you who have been reading, congratulations. Reading's a good skill. But also, you may have seen that we're talking about professions today. Careers, professions, the information behind where they are headed. Now, I'm going to throw out a big disclaimer here. A big old disclaimer. So for all of you who are skipping this part because you want to get to the good, juicy bits, best of luck to you. I'm sure you're going to be real angry when some of this stuff doesn't happen. But for everybody who's actively listening and watching, all of the stuff I'm about to show you, save for maybe the medical guide stuff and the fuel mechanic stuff, is really freaking old. Like, this stuff is what I see as a good indication of the kind of direction they would like to move in. Probably derivative to what we will actually be getting. And I think the best way to define this is probably by looking at something that's old that we've already gotten and see how it transfers over to what we're actually seeing in game. So maybe something like Shields of Management will give us a better idea of how their information ages. But this is all official information. This is all coming straight from CIG. This isn't fanfic. I had somebody pop in here on the chat before I even started and like tell me I was doing some fan fiction bullshit. And I'm like, dude, I'm reading from CIG with this, but it is old. So some of the stuff may change, but I think this is going to be a pretty cool indicator of that kind of stuff we can expect. And we got Astropub in here to confirm or deny. Deny? I tried to say doner because I'm so used to talking about Turkish food now. But yeah, good to see you, Astropub. The org event on Discord, what time is it? The event on the Discord will be in your time zone. So whatever time it says on the actual event will be the correct time on your clock. You have a lot of fan theories. I'm not even trying to do fan theories, man. It's just too much. I get lost in fan theories with this game now. Which patch will Salvage come in? Probably 3.18 in the next one. You've not been playing SCs. You see DD every time you get into your ship at New Babbage. Oh, that's a weird one. But I've heard that's been happening in PTU a little bit. Everybody give a shout out to Astropub. And honestly, if you have not subscribed to the Astropub or watched his stuff, please go do so. You're not going to learn about the lore. I mean, you'll learn some lore, but you're really not going to get it like Astropub gives it. And that's not an innuendo. That's just fact. Do you think we get a live release today since they messed up the actual live database? I highly doubt it. I did not eat the egg from my sidewalk. You disgusting. That is disgusting. Okay, where should we start? I should put a poll out, honestly. We get so many more people on YouTube than Twitch now, but I don't think I can do... Oh, I can do YouTube polls. Let's do it. All right, first profession to cover. We're gonna go, let's see, we've got... What do we have here? We have... I guess we're gonna go a little bit outside of professions. This is also talking about just game mechanics in general. But how about we start with... Do we have anything for mining? I don't think we do. All right, let's talk about cargo. Yeah? Cargo mechanics. Let's see. What else is there? Ship technical information. Oh, a guide to the new ship. Actually, I think I'm in the wrong... Hold on a second. I think I'm in the wrong little thingy. I think I gotta scroll down to here. Look at careers and roles. No, this just gives me the overview. I know that there is a way to... Where am I missing? I'm misclicking somewhere. Let me find the right spot real quick. Database is borked. Dude, they can't just be throwing stuff around like that and breaking the live servers. No, this is the same thing. The specific page I'm looking for, I think this will point me to it. More in this series? No. Concept ship Q&A. Ship repair and maintenance. Here we go. This is what I was looking for. Okay. So we've got ship mass, civilian passenger transport, FPS, damage system, mining. Ooh, okay, let's add mining on there. Mining. And what will be our third one? This is just a start. We'll go over all of these. How about Death of a Spaceman? No, we just learned about that last year. Fuel mechanics. That sounds kind of interesting. I think I know what's going to win between these three, though, so I'll add one more little wild card. Let's say... I mean, we could just do general careers, to be honest. Right? We could just go through that page. Whoops. Overview. Okay. You got a poll in the YouTube chat for anybody who wants to answer and chime in on what we should do first. I'm also going to say become a channel member for exclusive videos. I've seen people do this on YouTube streams. I'm not sure how exactly you do this, but I'm going to try. Let's see. Click that. Aha! And then I can just pin that. That's cool. Pretty chill. Pretty cool. Reese subbed up for 1 sub. Thank you so much, man. I'm sorry I missed that. We're going to get the alerts and stuff fixed for this stream starting next week. Like I said, we have a big old relaunch thing that we're doing with the stream. And part of that's going to be making sure that these alerts run correctly so I know what's going on. We need to talk about how the Cuddy Red can be useful in the future. We'll definitely hit on medical, so we'll get to that. YouTube streaming popping off for you guys. Yeah, I mean, I kind of feel like it's at the expense of Twitch. And it's like a really weird situation to be dealing with. Because technically with the YouTube stream doing better and Twitch not doing as well, well, yeah, kind of, we'll keep an eye on YouTube. We got a lot of 30Ks at the moment in live, lots of ship clones. Yeah, it's not sounding good in the live servers. Red Fox, thanks for joining us. Welcome, welcome. I don't know if Twitch has polls like that. It does. Yeah, I could do the Twitch poll as well, but we don't get very many people. Oh, did I get rid of the poll? That's weird. Okay, I'll unpin this. PU servers are chocked this morning. Yeah, that's what people are reporting. You know, we could do a quick poll on Twitch as well for y'all over there. I feel bad leaving you out. Which career should we cover? And I think I said cargo, mining, general careers. What was the third one? Was it ship mass? That would be weird. I don't think I would have said ship mass. Fuel mechanics. Fuel mechanics. I got you on Twitch. I got you. There's only a few of you, but like, come on. I love Twitch is where it started, and I love them. Finally watching a live stream of you. Welcome, Rob. Thanks for dropping in. Hope you had a good weekend. Which ship, with ship modularity coming soon, do you think the Cutlass Eye will merge into one and have black, blue, red, and steel? Nah, I don't think anything that's a variant right now will become a modular ship. That'd be very complicated, I think, on their part in terms of paying out and stuff. Boil them, cook them, put them in a pasta. Ooh, that's a good idea, Skirty. Or on a pizza. Repair is right there, just saying. You're right. You're right. We'll definitely get to repair. You had a good one, watching a few podcasts. Ooh, nice. That's a solid chunk of the weekend. I hope you enjoyed them. All right, so once the Twitch poll ends, which is in the next couple of minutes, I'm going to go ahead and pull the results. And it's looking already like it's going to be general career overview for both of y'all, both groups. So let's make our way over there. Let's start with that. This should be good. We got a lot here, a lot of little reading to do. I'll try to keep it a little more entertaining and less just kind of dry, ready stuff. But thanks everybody for voting and getting us to our first page. First page, first profession, first guide. I don't know. It was way too hot to do something else. I'm more of a winter person. I feel you. I love the winter. My wife loves the summer. I can get behind it. I'm okay with it. All right, let's start here. So this is the Shipyard. What this is a group of documents that they used to post. I think they just got too busy actually building the game to keep posting these after a while. But they posted these pretty regularly from around 2013 until 2017, 2018 or so. And they were meant to give us a pretty decent idea of like what they wanted to do in the game before we had all of the actual design and developers who were in there working on the stuff that could tell us how it was going to work. So again, like I said before, a lot of this stuff is very conceptual. It is very much planning. It is not necessarily exactly how this is all going to be, just something that we can kind of look to for some heads up, if you know what I mean. All right. So let's see. This first few paragraphs is just them talking about the ship matrix. This came out in 2017, by the way. So right before 3.0, right before Star Citizen actually started to feel like some bit of a game. But the first career that they jump into is combat, which is pretty straightforward. Exactly as the name implies, all about shooting and offensive damage to other ships, vehicles, and people on both ends of the legal spectrum, consisting of military surplus, militia converted, Terran. Yo, you know what? You know what's funny? I can hear the noise of bits on Twitch, and I already think of Terran, Terran McLean. Thank you for being so consistent with the bits. It's really nice. Sounds pretty cool too. Thanks for the 100 though. We'll put that towards a good pizza. Let's see. Where were we? Consisting of military surplus, militia converted, the rare current military stock, and the more common ungunned civilian ships. There is something for everyone in this group. It's kind of interesting that I mostly think of Star Citizen as a combat game at this point, because almost every ship has guns on it. Most of the stuff that we can do in the game is gun related. I can't wait to move a little bit further away from combat. No exploration, no engineering in the poll. I just used the documents that we have access to, which I didn't have those to put in the poll. They also are, that was also just what we're starting with. We're covering all of this stuff today. So moving on to transportation. Ships that transport anything as their primary income method, be that cargo, data, or passengers. From the smallest ship carrying a single crate to the massive Hull E, these ships are the backbone of the economy, carrying goods in and between systems. Interesting part about this is that I think them grouping cargo, data, and passengers as all subsets of transportation kind of gives us some insight into how they're going to treat it when they do missions and stuff. It very well could be that the passenger transport missions we get would be exactly like the box carrying missions with different challenges and things you have to do, but like the same setup, the same idea, the same route, stuff like that. But who knows? The game's expanded a lot more since they did this, and I think data and passenger transport are going to be interesting careers, but I'm really not sure about them yet. Exploration. This is one that a lot of people have debates over as to what implies exploration. A lot of people think this game won't have good exploration because it is smaller than a game like Elite Dangerous or No Man's Sky, but in here they say for those ships that go on short and long journeys to distant locations, going on short journeys to distant locations, of course, be it for solo, group, or commercial discovery, there is a ship to suit all explorer tastes, equipped for a variety of mission types and often with extra transport options included in the larger ships, like the Carrack we see here. Industrial says, if gathering items from the verse is your thing, then Industrial is the best group for you, featuring mining, salvage, science, and other similar ships. I'm surprised they put science in Industrial. Anything that gathers a resource from the world is contained within this group, whether it's physical matter such as mining and salvage, or intercepting and generating data from the environment. This always gets me. You have industrial ships that are intercepting and generating data, but you also have transportation ships that are transporting data. And ships like, I guess, like, what's the difference there? Are we really going to have ships that can haul, that can carry data but can't capture it? In which case, I assume this is just a small mistake. Science seems more like exploration to you. Yeah, science ships generally you would consider to be exploration. I mean, exploration ships you would consider to be science. But I guess it's just the way of them categorizing them. Perfect. Okay, support. Perfect for those who want to be involved in the action, but without shooting everything in sight. Ooh, me. Medical, repair, and refueling ships are all part of this group. See, they didn't even have refining in here back then. In fact, if we scroll down and you look at the roles that they had in terms of ships and all that stuff, it's interesting to see where it was limited compared to the amount of ships we have now. Kind of, I don't know, makes you think like, were they coming up with more ship ideas after this? Science is science. Thank you, Gabriel. That solved all of my problems. You hope the Carrack uses the drone room? Well, at some point. Some dude! Thank you for the super chat. I hope that the future puts careers together, like you need a scanning ship to help with targeting and tactics for large space battles. I think something like that'll happen. Need to get your freezer and fridge empty before you move out, Holston Coop? Hey, you want to cook me dinner, dude? I'm tired. I went to the gym for the first time since we got back to Turkey today, and I'm exhausted. I was not prepared for all this. You're gonna science so hard. I feel that. Hard science is best science, like the ring module at the Endeavor. Right. But that's why we're saying, like, science is a genre. I feel like exploration ships fall in the science genre, right? Hey, Scott. How you doing? What did we miss? We missed competition, which is like the least expected type of ship, I think, for most people joining the game. Almost entirely consisting of ships for racing, the group for those who need to go fast with lightweight, agile ships. Great for racing, but lack the durability for much else. It's certainly... These ships are less popular. They also have come off as being very much not necessary for the game, especially after they scrapped scramble races and didn't give us in-game space races for a long time. We still don't have them. But it's definitely, they're becoming more useful. People are starting to do more racing. Racing is becoming a bigger thing in games. So I think this competition area of the game is going to be much bigger than people expect. They've got a whole planet dedicated to ship racing in the LS system. And actually, this is it. This is the planet in the background here. This is from the LS system, and this is where a lot of the big races are going to take place. And I think there's going to be... they'll probably televise these races across the game for you to watch. There's going to be a ton of people who are streaming and making videos about these races and stuff. So competition is going to be a big thing that hasn't gotten too much focus officially speaking yet. All right, so in addition to the 6 above, there are a few ships that we really couldn't condense into one group or another, so we have termed these as multi-role ships. As they have such a range of roles, it wouldn't be right to put them in one group or another. Once each ship had been given a career, we drilled down further and assigned it a role inside that group to further define what the ship excels at. And they've got the careers we just went through: combat, transport, exploration, industrial, and then it looks like they have subtypes for each one. Oh, Dead Set. Yo. What up? What up, my friend? 18, more like 4.18. Before Pyros come out. Yeah. 4.18. Jesus. Another 5 years. Thank you for the sub, dude. I appreciate you. 18 months is a long time. Thanks for hanging around for so long. I hope it's been worth it. I'm assuming it's been worth it since you're subbed, but you know, you never know. Science is something you don't have in your mind, turning parts. You love your M50. Racing was very popular when you started SC. Yeah, it was. It was very popular back when we really only could do Arena Commander and Star Marine. So it was like one of the most fun things to do. Got to practice your skills before racing there, or even before Pyro. I got a lot of practicing to do. So here we're seeing in the support section, we've got medical, refueling, repair, and reporting. Is the only thing we're missing here refining, or is there anything else that I'm not thinking of in terms of support? Also interesting, this changed the way that I look at these ships, because I think I had support and industrial kind of combined in my mind. Like salvage and mining, I would put together with refueling, repair, and refining. Rearming? Base building. That's a good call. And this actually came out after base building was a confirmed topic or confirmed part of the game. So kind of surprised that it's not in here. But I guess maybe it was... Maybe they didn't want to put in like something super specific like that. Holston Coop, where are you headed? Where are you moving? Just cities, or are you leaving the country? Tuning parts, gotcha. All right. All these roles are visible in the ASOP terminals in game. Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. Let's see if there's anything here that might be interesting to everybody. Okay, here's some Q&A. Let's see what they have to say there. Hey, Echo. Things are going well. I'm a sleepy boy today. You think support is what requires other players while industrial can be done alone? Maybe. So what do the other roles in exploration mean? This is referring to expedition and touring. So does this, I guess this kind of tells us about the Pathfinder role. These ships are the small single-seater solo exploration ships such as the Terrapin, designed for single-person short-term sessions in unknown worlds and reconnaissance in hostile areas with limited duration. Relative to other exploration ships. So these are your short-term, short-range exploration ships. And then they've got all these different ones here. Okay, so now that we know that, let's look at the rest of the exploration ships. Just moving a few streets over. Oh, okay. Well, that's not too bad. Why not just take all your stuff out of your fridge and move it down the street? You're just getting back into SC after a few months break, but you're really new to the verse. Excited to be back? Welcome, Echo. It's good to take a couple breaks every once in a while. You want a link for this site? Yeah. Hold on a second. I'm going to... It's on the official website. Robert Space Industries. And then I would just look up Shipyard. and it'll probably pull up something for you. Yep, here we are. I'll just copy paste that into the chat for you. Rogue Duck, what's up? How you doing? Gotta hop off for a meeting, Taryn. All right, I'll catch you later. Thank you so much for dropping in. Appreciate the support. Have a good day. Okay, so what do the other roles in exploration mean? Expedition ships are for the multi-crew ships in the exploration category that are able to support extended explorations. There's a lot of exploration words in here, with much larger supplies and often vehicles. Luxury exploration ships cover both of the aforementioned roles, but naturally do them in a much more luxurious manner. Guessing that would be your 600i Explorer. On paper, if without visuals, if you compared a 300i and an Aurora LX, they'd stack up fairly similar. But in reality, the 300i is a much more luxurious ship. This is actually a pretty key topic. This is probably one for a podcast episode, to be honest, because the idea of luxury in this game is pretty hotly debated. It's hard to place additional value on a ship just because it looks good. You know, in a video game, when people are looking at numbers, it definitely, I think, is going to be a hard sell for them. It's already been a hard sell for them, but if you're going to have ships that are luxury and the only difference between them and the other ship that's utility focused, you're really going to need to flex on that value that you get from that. I don't know. It's hard. It's hard to pull off. You don't know if farming is supposed to be a thing outside of the Endeavor, but you hope it is. It is. It is outside of the Endeavor. Professions and careers. People keep forgetting these, and new players don't even know about this unless you tell them about it. Heck, so far all your friends referred actually got pulled over because of this becoming a thing eventually. Yeah, it's good to go over this stuff every once in a while. All right, another question. Why has my ship changed role from what it was introduced as? Oh, this is a juicy one. We have tried to ensure that all ships remain as close to their originally described roles. However, a few may seem to have changed, but this is more to do with vague or nebulous original descriptions. They were good at that. As development has progressed, a lot of the older ships had very unique roles which did not fit nicely in with the current game design and need to be subtly pushed in various directions to better fit their intended role. So it's going to be really interesting as some of these older concepts end up being created 8 years after they were originally theorized. You know, the game has completely changed since they were introduced. The Genesis Starliner, how the heck, like, there's no way they could have planned that ship for the current game or for the game that ship's eventually going to be in. So that's why it's kind of iffy to buy concepts. You know, it's tempting. The ships are really cool. The pictures are shiny. But it can lead to a lot of disappointment in the future when they start changing the ships up a little bit to balance better. Does my career group restrict what missions I can do? Answer being absolutely not. We do not restrict missions available to the player at all currently and have no immediate plans to do. It's up to you to decide the best ship for the mission based on the information provided. That is such like a... Don't tell me which ship to use. Just tell me what I need from my ship, you know? You'd still be able to take an escort mission in an 890 jump if you so desire. Hey, that could work. The ship that you're escorting, you just put in your hangar, and then you just use your 890 jumps guns. But the difficulty in achieving the same income for that would be much higher than if you took that person in a ship that was dedicated long-range combat ship like the Vanguard or Defender. That's also super key. It's like they need to continue to make sure that you're only going to get paid enough to support the effort that's expected to go in, right? You can't just take a pirate mission and be like, I'm going to bring 8 of my friends with me to take on this pirate mission. You guys are going to get much less money. So that's another key aspect that I really hope remains in this game. I think that's something that is kind of at the core of Star Citizen, luckily. But definitely an important part of the game, for me at least. Which page am I looking at? This is on the Shipyard on robertspaceindustries.com. I did post it a little bit earlier. Somebody could copy paste that back in the chat. Could go grab a javelin real quick and do a transport mission with it. You end up paying more just to start the ship up. Oh, a slam run with javelin. Hey, no security is going to try and stop you, right? Could you imagine if there was like a Bengal doing drug runs? What would the UEE do? What, like, I mean, it would be really silly if some crazy huge pirate syndicate went through all the trouble of hijacking the most dangerous ship in the human arsenal, which I just can't even imagine that happening. But if it did happen, what would they even do? Bring in a retribution? The only answer? Can the Bengal even land in Atmo? No. They just drop the drugs from orbit. Everybody just grabs them as they fall. It's a special kind of drug drop. Oh, just steal the retribution. This is trying to go all above and beyond. Sorry, my lips don't work when I'm tired. That sounds... I'll say my mouth doesn't work while I'm tired. No, that also sounds... Just gonna stay away from that. All right, let's move on to repair. Because somebody did call that out, and I'm actually very interested in hearing about... There are some really cool little diagrams in repair that might be something we experience rather quickly, since we're looking at repair coming in with the hull scraping in 3.18. If I can just find it. Come on. Where the heck did it go? There it is. It was one to the left. Sorry, I'm just dumb. Bengal was given to the pirate. Yeah. The CIA was like, how did they get our Bengal? That's too bad. Hope they don't blow up our enemies. Even in real life history, pirates couldn't really take on ships of the line, or capital ships in this case. Right, they just run away, right? At least from what I know in the movies and TV shows and comics. Especially as a kid. They mostly attacked merchants, right. Which is why I'll never be a merchant. Okay. All right. Ship repair and maintenance. This is a fun one. Look at all this. This is freaking crazy. I always forget how much detail they go into this. Remember, this is 2015. This is 7 years ago. I honestly have no idea if they're still going to try and go this deep into this, but they get wild. We'll see. So they start out with a little introductory here. Space is a hostile place, and even the most skilled pirates will need to have their craft patched up from time to time. Fortunately, there are a number of options available to citizens to get themselves back up and running. Star Citizen's repair system works in conjunction with the engine's detailed damage model to create intuitive and engaging gameplay for players wishing to pursue a career in ship repair, or for pilots executing quick field repairs. Coolest part about that paragraph is that's all completely true still, and they said this all just a couple of weeks ago as they were previewing for us what salvage and repair would look like. The basis for repair technology in Star Citizen are tools equipped with multi-purpose lasers that can trim away damaged material or sinter construction material injected onto a component's frame, rebuilding its structure. So, like, no more fucking getting sick of lasers. They've been saying it since 2015. Be informed. Really though, people will complain about the lasers, but they're being consistent in some of these things. And honestly, with Star Citizen, that's a blessing because it changes so much. Let's see. Repair roles. Any ship with repair capabilities has 2 roles that must be filled to ensure a successful repair job: the repair arm operator and the repair task manager. This is where I think they're kind of different from what they used to plan. The repair arm operator is responsible for the control of the robotic repair arm. Mounted with a multi-purpose laser and material injector system, the repair arm is capable of carrying out a manner of repair tasks. The repair arm is the only player-controlled method of fully restoring a ship to 100% health, but requires skill, knowledge, and coordination with the repair task manager to do so effectively. Okay, so... that's interesting. repair drone operator, you think? So I wonder if they're going to have special hangars with repair arms, if every hangar will have repair arms, or if they will replace these repair arms with the drones like Rolokip is saying, or something else. Because this is definitely different from the multi-tool and the repair tool we've already seen, which only add material back onto the ship. They don't actually patch the ship up to what it used to look like. They just add on this kind of like whatever the color of the metal that you got and you put on the ship. It'll just literally put those patches back on your damage, which is cool because somebody who's been out there fighting for I don't know, weeks, days, however long, getting tons of battles in, you'll be able to see all their patched up damage as they come back in, you know, and maybe you respect that a little bit. You don't get the issue with lasers. Lasers are cool. Lasers are cool. And it's like 900 years in the future. Lasers they're okay. You were pleasantly surprised that after you installed a new quantum drive, you had to turn the friggin' thing on through your MFD. Yeah, that is I think that's a glitch actually, because you have to turn it off and on or something for that. The Crucible has repair arms and drones. Right, yeah. So they showed that in the original concept. I wonder how the Crucible is going to change though. That's another one that's been introduced a long time ago, but only just kind of changed recently. Or is only just introduced a long time ago, still hasn't been made. That's what I'm trying to say. What's changed profession-wise versus what they originally ever said? Mining is the only one that's been added. It's not as straightforward as that. There are aspects that have been added. So fuel mechanics, cargo mechanics, ship mass. They also have a couple of things. Medical gameplay is on here. There are a few things we're going to go over that have already been in the game. So we'll see how those have changed over time too. And then your patched up ship will look like a Drake ship. Hey, there it is. There's the Drake hate. We're going to have an emote for that. Okay, the repair task manager. Oh shoot, my keyboard's still plugged into the other computer. Give me a second. Thanks, Windows. Didn't know I had plugged it in. That whole one keyboard problem. This is my other problem, actually. I'll show you guys. I don't have another monitor yet, so I have to use this TV. That's my stream monitor. Kind of jank, but for those of you who got here early, who know that somebody came to the door right when the stream was about to start, we just got new monitors, so I should be better off next week. Was Endeavor talked about yet? Not yet. We'll get to the Endeavor. Vulcan is support to refuel, repair, and rearm. Yeah, Vulcan is such a cool ship. Shifty, how you doing, buddy? Okay. All right. Repair task manager relays the detailed damage information to the repair arm operator, designating repair tasks to be undertaken, and is responsible for the allocation of materials to satisfy part reconstruction requirements. So, yeah, I think this is talking about the repair that we should expect on things like the Crucible or at space stations. What I'm interested in knowing is how are they going to work all these professions into the space stations? Because the refining game loop, for instance, is in a space station, but it's very dumbed down. Are they going to do that for the other ones, or are they going to try and continue to expand on them? I imagine they'll expand on them, but still up in the air. Okay, so let's look at what the repair task manager has to actually look for when it comes to the damage. To initiate workshop repairs, the manager must first use their damage assessment interface to gather damage information and prepare for the repair tasks required. Whilst using their terminal, the repair task manager can access the target's ship damage diagnostics. This displays the status of the ship parts, the hull, systems, weapons, and their various connections. Player can toggle and filter between various layers, isolating and displaying their respective elements. So they've been constantly building, and this is kind of why the game has taken so long. If you look at all the detail here, they're talking about the fuel lines, the guns, the wings, the hull, the engines, the power plants, the thrusters, the relays, the ship, the shield emitters, Everything on this ship, right? There's obviously empty space, but everything on this ship is getting physicalized and actually created for the ship itself. You extrapolate that out to 100 plus ships, that takes a long time. But if you go back to 2016, 2017-ish, they used to talk about this system called Item 2.0, which was really important for all of this, to get every object actually to have its, oh gosh, what was it? They were creating it so that every object could be tracked in game and given their own characteristics and properties, which was really important because for professions like repair, we need to be able to scan for those things and actually have them show up. So all this time, they've been building out these ships to try and make sure that this is true. They added the damage map, which we just now saw recently. They've been physicalizing components, which we saw. They switched weapons over to Item 2.0. They created wear and tear on things like thrusters. And just continuously over the years, you can kind of see the different small features that have built up this system. And it starts to give a little more context as to why it's taking so long. Not necessarily explains everything, but it definitely kind of helps understand what's been going on. Moving on from there, they say damage that has been dealt to a ship's hull is represented on an AR overlay as a heat map. No damage displays as green. Oh, sorry, no damage displays as green. Full damage in hulls are red, and partial damage on a gradient in between. The edges of hull breaches are also highlighted for clarity. Highlighting the various parts will display its current health as well as the materials required to repair it. When ready to start a repair job, the task manager selects the desired parts, opening the material thingamajigga. Oh, did we just get raided on Starstream? Oh, shoot. This is my first YouTube raid. Hey, buddy. That is dope. Wait, how can I? Okay, I don't have a I don't know how to shout you out. How do I shout them out, Google? Help me, YouTube. Yo, Starstream, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. That is a first encounter for me with that new feature. YouTube is finally starting to catch up with Twitch. Honestly, drop a link to your channel in the chat, Starstreams. I don't know if it'll block it or not, but I'll prove it if it does. Let's get a shout out in there though. People go follow Starstream if you don't know. He's a YouTube streamer. There are those YouTube only streamers, and we are starting our network. We're getting there. We're building it up. I appreciate everybody joining in with the raid. We're just doing a little bit of overview on the various professions and careers that have been introduced in concept to Star Citizen over the last decade, and talking about how they might change over time, what they might bring to the game when they come. As you can see right now, we're talking about repair, which gets really deep into like elements that you're using and all this stuff. It's crazy. So if you're interested in development kind of stuff, feel free to stick around. But if you're not, well, I guess still stick around. But Starstream, thank you so much for the raid, buddy. How was your stream? Did you continue with, let's see, you were doing some mining, right? No, you were doing cargo hauling with the mule. Brain hurts already. So does mine. So does mine. Things went south, huh? Sounds like Star Citizen. Unicorn, I'm not going to say that because that's going to get my phone to start acting up. The cargo mule, yes. Ended up in jail. Ah! One of the classic Star Citizen ending stories. I love it. Can the mod throw a link in there? Yeah. Holston Coop just threw a link up there for Star Streams on the channel. Make sure to check it out, folks. If you're on YouTube here, give him a follow. Check out his streams. Are you going to start doing videos, Starstream, or are you sticking strictly to streams? Actually, I think I've seen you do videos. I don't know if they're streams that have been turned into videos or video videos, though. But are you thinking about doing more of like the pre-prepared videos, or are you mostly doing live content? Redwind Bunker mission. Ooh, I haven't gotten to do those yet. How'd that go? Streams with the odd VOD. I like an odd VOD. All right. Well, that was a good little break. Let's get back. Oh, Jesus, I smell like the gym. I like that. I like that. It's been a while. It's been too long. All right. Highlighting the various parts will display its current health as well as the materials required to repair it. When ready to start a repair job, the repair task manager selects the desired part, opening the material panel. Now, where have we seen that before? Using a tool to scan something and then figuring out what's required for it sounds a lot like the medical gameplay. It certainly sounds like all of this gameplay is pretty congruent. They seem rather related to each other in idea. So I do think that this is something we can expect to stay with the game once this repair actually comes in. And this isn't repair we're getting with the multi-tool. I was mistaken about that. This is a hardcore repair. This is like the old, you know, you always do repair.
Well, it's a Tuesday morning, time to get up and start putting some more paint back on the mall.
It sounds like a repair person, right? It's like they all have the same accent. I don't know. I'm terrible at accents, so that's just gonna be a repair person, mining person, refueling that's every person for today is gonna have that voice. Hope you don't mind. What's up, Wolven? Saw some of your YouTube videos on SC. Nice to catch a stream. Nice of you to drop by. Welcome. As a mechanic, you're slightly offended. That's my specialty. Unknowingly offending people with terrible accents. Oh my gosh. If the English people could hear what I thought a British accent might sound like, it's terrible too, because my wife has a British accent. You'd think I'd just start to pick it up better. But no, my British accent sounds like an Australian that got punched in the stomach. All right, material panel. Do it in British now. You're gonna have to get me a little. Oh, I'm gonna have to be a little tipsy for that one. I do it every once in a while. I whip it out. You just gotta keep an ear perked up and you'll hear it. It's terrible, so you won't miss it. All right, so in the material panel. Repairs taking place in a workshop require the consumption of the raw construction materials gathered through mining, scavenging, and trade. Holy crap, I'd love to hear that. I'm sorry, but that is so exciting to hear. Somebody was just talking about this in chat, that they wanted science to be related to other professions and require to use other ships. This is the dream, right? Like, hey, I'm a repair person. I need these materials. Let me put a contract out for mining so that anybody who's out there who's a miner can go get them. Mining person says, hey, I'm a miner, but I'm not trying to haul all the way across the system. Let me pay a transport, a cargo hauler to take all my goods back to this repair person and sell them. Like, I know that's a lot. It's very wishful thinking. And I think that's what they want to do. I don't know if that's what they can do, but oh gosh. That's going to just be freaking awesome. Whip it out. Space Tomato, July 18th. Glad to finally be in a live stream, not watching it later. Glad to have you with us, Echo Song. How is it watching them later? Is it kind of weird because you don't get to interact, but everybody's interacting in the video? That's what she said. Ah! It's a knee slapper. Hey, I just found your channel. I like how you clarify dev updates in a concise way. Keep it up. Thank you. I try my hardest. And it's a lot of fun, so I get some enjoyment out of it as well. Okay, let's keep going. Sorry, I got too excited. Depending on the repair job, certain types and quantities of material are required. When a component is selected, these requirements are displayed in the repair compound section of the material panel as slots that need to be filled from the repair ship's material stock. Each material is graded to reflect how effective it is when assigned to a slot and how it will affect the repair process. To get optimum results, the task manager must balance the arm operator's requirements versus the value of the materials used. Once all materials have been assigned, the repair arm operator can then initiate the reconstruction process. So, all of my friends here, all of you with me, I love you all, I appreciate you all. You just the funnest of bunches, right? But we're all here today to learn. And I think the best thing we can do when we learn is to spread this knowledge once we find others hither who could use such words. I don't know what accent that was, but I slipped into it a little bit. What I'm trying to say is, when people start talking to you about how lasers are making everything dumb, how the profession's not going to be fun because all you're doing is shooting lasers at stuff. Remind them that the laser component of it is just the vehicle for the game. It's not the actual gameplay, right? Medical gameplay is not just whipping a thing out and pointing a laser at somebody and shooting them, at least not advanced medical gameplay. It's knowing the drugs that you need to do it with, right? Just like repair gameplay is about knowing the materials you need to do it with and balancing them. People start missing that because it's very easy to get hooked on the simplicity of some of the more basic styles of this gameplay. We're going to get repair in the next update, and it's just going to be a multi-tool that throws some stuff on a ship. People are probably going to be like, this really isn't deep enough to be a profession, without realizing how much stuff is still planned for the other parts of the profession. So whenever you hear that, just point them towards this kind of stuff. Like I said, a lot of this is outdated, but it still gives the idea of what they're trying to do. Well, whoa. Thank you for all the subscribing, everybody. Was it the accent? Is that is that what I did? That was Patrick Stewart? Hey, if I can get Patrick Stewart voice down, then maybe I'll stop talking in my own voice. Like the materials are all physicalized, that would stop them from Fallout style create your own assets. What exactly do you mean by that, Nasem? I'm not sure this is going to get super deep into the crafting part of things, other than the fact that they will be used for components. But I guess create your own assets, you mean like literally from scratch? I think we'd probably have to wait until like mods for that. Can you stop with the, the alerts, please? Thank you. It's aiming it to be like Arma medical mod. Yeah, it's kind of not quite as deep as that, thank God, but it's getting up in there. If you want depth, Arma isn't a bad place to draw from. So I've heard. You're really interested in hearing what they plan for science and research stuff. Definitely gonna see, we'll see what they're doing today if they've got anything on here. Starstream's just dropping, dude. Just dropped another 5 gifted subs on the YouTube channel. Man, I should have dropped some subs for you earlier today. I didn't even. Thank you so much, Starstreams. You're such a homie with that. Thank you for the support, buddy. I appreciate it, man. And welcome, gifted membership people. First of all, pretty freaking cool. You can gift memberships on YouTube now, just like you gift subs on Twitch. Great way to support, and actually does a lot better than Twitch subs. But also, all of the members on YouTube get access to my exclusive YouTube videos. I've got, I think, 7 or 8 right now on the channel that you can go binge watch if you'd like. They're all in depth. They touch on stuff that's more like this, kind of the history of development of Star Citizen and stuff. So for, I think it's $5 a month, you get access to those videos as well as every exclusive video I put out every month, and our chat rooms. And a big thank you from me. Let's see what they say about this though. This is a lot of like pictures and stuff. So they've got elements. They're really showing some details about how the elements work. And to be quite honest, I expect to see this in the mining gameplay before we ever see it in repair. In fact, the fact that they haven't even touched on this when it comes to mining is a little bit off-putting. They haven't really talked about elements when it comes to mining. We basically just know the rocks and then carry the rocks to the place and melt the stuff at the place and get money for it. All this stuff about specific elements needs to be a little, I think they need to talk about this more if they're trying to do this. Star Citizen University. Hey, Captain Hannah. Thank you for becoming a member. I appreciate it so much. Thank you. You the best. I like the picture too. Love a banana. Oops. Even if I have an allergic reaction to them, gotta love a banana. Okay, so these other... Oh, this is not a picture. This is just showing, I guess, different types of materials and how their sweet spot. Yeah, there it is. The period of time where the exposed surface has reached maximum quality before it begins deterioration from overexposure. This is cool. I mean, it's a really cool idea. Hey, the stream is lit. We going off. I'm feeling it though. It's a good day. It's a Monday. What more could you expect? This is kind of a start of a player economy where you can actually use the mine stuff for something other than selling to NPCs. Yeah. Yeah, crafting. Jesus, where is crafting? I don't even like... I don't... Hey, you're a tomato, I'm a banana tomato. Together we make a weird smoothie. Oh, gosh. I mean, a banana smoothie on its own is great, but I don't know, you throw a tomato in there. I mean, even the consistency is gonna just really mess me up. Like a little bit of watery, kind of chunky with like seeds floating around. Oh, I'm not really a naturally big fan of tomatoes. I know, but you know, it'd be like that. Starstream, my dude. Are you Oprah today, my friend? You get a membership. You get a. Does anybody not know that joke? Are we at the stage where people don't actually know that joke anymore? Thank you so much for the freaking gifted memberships, friend. Wow, you killed it today. Is CIG planning a complexification of the different gameplay? Example, having a mini game where you have to do surgery of somebody with a tier 1 injury for medical. I think it's going to get more complicated, but I'm not sure it's going to get to the point of like surgery or something. Oh, and we've been rated on Twitch. This is quite the freaking wild stream. Thank you so much for the raid, McGilly. I appreciate you. I hope you had a good stream yourself. Oops, that was not the right command. Stand by, so I can actually do this on Twitch and not YouTube. You're playing some Star Citizen, my friend. How was it? How was it for you today? Colin said, I created an account during the free fly. I used a friend referral code and the free fly event code for a free ship, but never actually got around to logging in and creating a character. You think I squandered my chance to try SC for free? It happens a lot, my friend. Colin, I would say you're gonna at least get a chance to You're gonna get a chance to play this game for free probably 3 more times this year, maybe 4. So you've got plenty. Don't worry about it. If you missed this one, there's always another. And also, if you hang out on these streams, my streams, other people's streams, just go on YouTube videos, there are a lot of giveaways that happen. So you'll be able to get a game package at some point. You were just in the PU and everything was good? Grind and rep, my friend? Or just hanging out? Good morning, Kvotha. Wait, a double raid? Did I miss the other raid? What was the first raid? I'm only seeing a notification for one. I hope our other raider got called out. I see McGilly and I'm not seeing another raid. I'm going over the different professions here with the game that they're planning. So this is information that comes straight from CIG. I am a fan of Space Tomatoes. You got that right. Raid on Twitch and on YouTube. Oh, okay. Because of the other. Yeah. Yeah, it's a good day. You guys are really treating me today. Thank you. This is fun. Okay, let's move on. Reconstruction. In the event that a ship part or component has been entirely detached or destroyed, you know what? Why am I not giving y'all video resources for this stuff? We have actual footage. Not only have they talked about actually doing this stuff, they've also made previs demos of it. So let me show you what this actually looks like, if I can. For those of you who are regulars, you know how this process goes. Where would the damage map be? Where would I have put that? In the D's? No. Not in the D. The D was not the answer. Jeez. I'm sure somebody must remember this better than me at this point. Hey, Soul Scream, thank you for gifting out those subs. Or that one sub. Ooh, a tier 3 sub to McGilly. Much appreciated, buddy. Thank you. Where can these details be found? Can somebody please copy paste the link that I made earlier into the chat for this? You made an account years ago and you've been watching on and off, Nasem? If you still haven't played SC, I'd be happy to have you on my newcomer streams once we start them up. Starting that series up again next week. I think it's fantastic that CIG is focusing on gating certain activities behind specialized knowledge and skills of the player instead of an arbitrary number. I tell you what, Zach, there are like 4 or 5 different things about this game that keep me here, and that's one of them. And if they started stripping those things away, you would bet that I would start to find myself being less interested. But throughout the years, CIG has proven again and again that they continue to want to do that. Despite it taking a really long time, I'm super glad they stick with it. But I don't think I can find this in due time. This is going to take too long. I really need to get more organized with this. The thing is, like, this is one... Oh, God. I can't search it because I'm on my NAS, so it won't show up. If I can go to local files, I do have a small backup on local files. Let's see if I've got it saved here. Oops. I do not. It's not there. Okay. So I don't think, unless it's here, engine. Damage map, damage map, damage map, damage map, damage map. No. Basically what I was going to show you is a Gladius getting its wings shot off and disintegrating under fire. And that's something that they have shown that they want to do. It's something we're now reading about here that we know they want to do. And it's something that's starting to be brought into the game with the damage map and the upcoming salvage profession in the next patch. So definitely a thing. Before reconstruction can be started though, the attachment point must be cleared of any obstructing debris by the repair arm operator. Whilst an obstruction is present, the part appears as a yellow hologram on a damage assessment screen with extraneous material highlighted for removal. They made this so detailed for they made this way too detailed for how early it was. And this was after they expanded the game, so they kind of already knew that it was going to be bigger than they thought. I'm surprised they went into this much detail. Got internal access to CIG work servers. Wouldn't that be something special? Hacker Tomat. You were like that before you upgraded your RAM and finally jumped in. You can't get enough SC, so addicting. It can be. I can link you to... Hold on. Let me see if I can get this link. I'm going to drop a link in here if somebody could save it to post to everybody else when they ask. Hold on a second. This is the wrong page. Okay. What is going on? Sorry, I'm having trouble getting this link up on my other computer. Here is a link. This will get you in the area. You're gonna have to keep looking for other related documents to find this specific one. You've been role-playing for 10 years. This game is made for role-players of the sci-fi community. I think the role-players are really going to enjoy it, yeah. Okay, this is something we actually kind of recognize. Hull stripping. Hull stripping is vital for improving the integrity of a ship's hull that has only sustained light damage, as only missing segments can be patched. In stripping mode, the repair arm's high-powered laser is used to cleanly remove parts of the component's surface without causing structural damage to the surrounding area. Stripped surfaces are converted and collected as a percentage of its raw materials. This is what we're getting in 318. This is the literal definition of salvage in 318. It's actually in the repair section, believe it or not. Stripping is also necessary when a component or part has been completely detached. Full component reconstruction requires a clean attachment point, requiring the operator to cut away any debris that compromises the area. Basically, SIG is assigning an expert team to every component to their assets, as well as creating all of the fundamental integrations to build them. Yeah, the engine and the game. It's quite a lot. Do you think base building will actually be in the game, like having org towns or even cities where these gameplay loops of science, cargo contracts, base defense in non-UEE area? Rob Bacon, let me introduce you to something here. You're gonna love this. This, my friend, is a very small picture. Let me find a different picture for you. Oh God, I'm stressing out. This, my friend, up here in the corner is the Consolidated Outlands Pioneer. This is a literal base building ship. You can see the bases down here being constructed. Yeah, it's 100% going to be a thing. This was a rather controversial show because of they introduced some stuff with this ship that people weren't too pleased with. But you can see that they're very serious about making sure that not only is base building a thing, but players have all the means necessary to make sure it can happen. And they have huge talk about this ship, about base building in general. Obviously, just like the stuff we're going over, subject to change. It's all still conceptual. Back then it was 2017, but it's confirmed it's going to be in the game. Base building will be possible. You'll be able to host careers there. You'll be able to do mining and stuff, refining, holding cargo, make it a base for defense, all kinds of stuff. So don't know when it is, but it's happening. In fact, see, now this is something I know I can pull up for you, because I saved this last year. Check this out though. This tool here is called... Wait, I swear I did save it here. Here it is. This tool is called Rastar. This is a tool they've been building for a while that, originally speaking, the reason we don't have that many settlements or outposts in the game is because the planet tech they were making was so experimental from 2015 to late 2020 that they really didn't want to invest too much in putting stuff on the ground, because every time they redid the planet tech, it would wipe everything out. That's why we didn't have a ton of derelicts before. That's why we didn't have outposts that much before. At least that's part of why. The other part is they didn't have the manpower to make it. But this is all kind of related. One of the things they couldn't do before was actually flatten the ground for outposts. That's why all of the outposts that we're using right now are up on these stilts, because they could literally not even flatten the ground on planets to put outposts on. So now they've got this tool that allows them to just lay out a flat patch anywhere on a planet and plop a base down. So the tool they use for that is called Rastar, which is this thing that we're seeing right here. Now, this is very ugly. It looks internal. It's not even finished for internal, but they have confirmed to us that this tool is the beginnings of what we're going to use at some point to make our own bases. So they're going very in depth to try to make this a fully featured part of the game for us and make sure it's kind of comfortable for us to use. Building a bustling settlement into a hypercity with flying cars and androids on your land surrounding your own mining operation. That sounds like a bit much. I'm not gonna go so far as to say we can build towns and stuff. Who knows how much stuff can really be that close in proximity to each other. But I think we'll definitely have player settlements and org villages and stuff like that. Pick whatever small congregation name you want to apply to it. Imagine another 10 years into this. Well, that's kind of the exciting part. I know people really hate how long this has taken, but if you look at where they've gotten, It's really exciting to think about what's going to be happening in 10 years. Granted, I'm more excited for what happens in between now and then, but you know what I mean. You want your own civilization. I've got a game for you. It's pretty fun. I am Ivikati? I'm not Ivikati. Oh, you're talking to somebody else. Of course you're not talking to me. I'm not Ivikati. All right, next up is patching. Now this is going to be another thing that's brought in with stripping that we'll get to do when salvage comes in. Patching is the act of rebuilding a ship or component's surface and restoring its integrity. When in patching mode, the repair arm's laser is repurposed to directly print material onto a ship or component's frame. As the repair arm is aimed, a wireframe hologram is projected showing the edge of the damaged area that can be printed onto. The grid is a high-resolution tractor mesh that matches the damaged surface, supporting the material printed onto the ship. The repair arm sprays a powdered compound whilst simultaneously firing a laser to heat and bind the compound, creating the new surface as the repair surface is built up. The mesh gradually contracts to form a new working edge until the area is completely restored. The strength of the new surface is dependent on the amount of exposure it is subjected to from the laser. As a surface is being built, it gradually increases in strength until it reaches 100%. If the laser remains focused on the area for much longer, however, the integrity decreases as the surface overheats. This creates a sweet spot that the operator must reach before moving on to achieve optimum integrity. I'm curious if... So up until now, I've been thinking that their repair and salvage stuff that they're going to do in 3.18 was going to be super bare bones. I am curious if what they do is going to at all include this wireframe mesh or the elements or anything like that. I don't think it will. I'd be very happy if it did though. Aren't tickets 200 tomato tokens? Your stream element states 500 per ticket. Oh, you know, I'm gonna have to change that. That's my bad. Thank you for the reminder though. I'll write that down so I can get that after the stream. 200 points per ticket to 500 points per ticket. And we'll do that giveaway at the end of this week. Yeah, this is from the CIG website. I posted a link in the chat earlier. Post another one here. This isn't going to be the exact page, but it'll get you on the start. Have I done exploration yet? No, this is only the second one we've touched on so far. Okay, field repairs. This is where we start to get into the stuff that we actually are getting right now. The multi-tool. A personal item that is equipped with the capabilities of a small-scale version of a workshop's repair arm. It is capable of stripping and patching, coming in 3.18, allowing it to achieve a wide variety of ship repairs short of full part reconstruction. Although the multi-tool's repair capabilities are the same as that of a repair arm, the size of the laser and low quantity of repair material it can store means that it's only suitable for quick fixes and patch jobs to get a ship back to a proper repair facility. Okay, basically that's all we've heard so far on that, but again, this is something from 2015 that they wrote down about the multi-tool, and we are now actually getting it. And 7 years later, it took forever, but I think it's really important to touch on these things that are old, and sometimes you think that they just kind of ignored it or pushed it out or decided not to do it, and eventually they do end up getting to a lot of this stuff. That doesn't mean everything gets done, but some stuff does. Component damage. When your ship takes damage, some of that damage will be transferred from the point of impact on the hull to the nearest system and weapon components. We already know this because we've started to see it with component wear and tear, although I think they kind of slowed down on that stuff. And then we've got subcomponents. These are interesting. We've seen subcomponents a little bit, but we don't really know any information about them. So we know components are power supplies, quantum drives, shield generators, weapon hardpoints, stuff like that. But subcomponents, not much. So here they get to tell us a little bit about what we're going to be getting. Power conduits allow the component to perform better for the same amount of power. A coolant rod, enables the component to use less coolant. Auxiliary drives enabled knocked out, or offline components to boot up faster. Capacitors help protect components by absorbing harmful or unwanted energy. That's probably going to change because they started to use capacitors for a different use in the ship. They'll probably just change the name though. EM insulators protect components from distortion damage by absorbing EM radiation. Kinetic barriers help protect components by absorbing the damage from incoming ballistic fire. Phase arrays reduce EM signatures by altering the frequency they are emitted from, which is going to be good for stealth mechanics, and heat sinks reduce the IR signature, also stealth mechanics. So these are definitely pretty standard subcomponents, but these are the things that you're going to have repair when a component takes damage, I believe. These are going to take more of the damage than the actual component itself. Module racks. I don't even know what this is. Module racks are panels that house... Oh, okay. They're just the component housing. The various components used to keep their associative subcomponents running. These can be found on the hull under maintenance hatches in closed cockpit ships or internally in the engineering section of large multi-crew ships. Depending on the component installed, different types and numbers of subcomponents are required. Each subcomponent is built for quick removal and replacement, allowing for field repairs to be carried out as quickly as possible. If a player attempts to remove a subcomponent from a powered component, they risk being electrocuted and receiving damage. And I have no doubt that CIG will actually get people electrocuted. Just get electrocuted enough times so that you start to get those like overdose effects kicking in. Like, oh yeah, yeah. Oh, just one more hit. Just weird people things. Replacing a subcomponent is a simple case of interacting with the item in question. The player will then remove it, freeing up the slot. If the player has a replacement in their possession, they can then interact with the empty slot to place it. These are very detailed directions as to what's going to happen. I don't think we really need to read through them, but the pictures are cool. Looks like a capacitor, maybe? Like an open air capacitor? I don't know. No, not a capacitor. Something else. Component racks. So when they talk about gold standard on ships, this is kind of what to expect. You've got your components in the right place. You've got the metrics correct. The doors are working, all that kind of stuff. So a lot of the work they've been doing on ships over the last few years has been preparing them for this kind of a system. Bob? Hey, Bob! You there? From where is this info? Here is the link for all this info. You'll have to go through the different pages though. All right, so people have been asking about exploration. That was repair, pretty interesting. I don't know if we have anything here for exploration. If we don't, then I'll jump to mining, because I'd like to compare the mining that they've talked about to the mining we have so far. Ooh, physics. There's medical, fuel. Cargo. Components. Turrets, hardpoints, thrusters. Ship technical info. I don't know what that means. And ship mass. What is ship technical info? This might just be about the... Yeah, this is about the ship matrix. It does give you an idea of how ships are categorized, though. Cooked pork. You struggle so much to get an idea of where they are in development for most things. It seems they have almost everything 90% finished, but we can't know for sure. Nah, they're super far off on a lot of stuff. I would say most of these major professions and game mechanics, as far as their particular work that they need, they're like 10 to 30%. I would say even mining, I feel, is only maybe 50% done. But it's hard to judge because a lot of the work that goes into these professions is work that's not directly connected to the professions. So like the entity graph is technically work that goes to these professions. The damage map is work. Building blocks UI system. The star map, for instance, is work that goes towards exploration, technically. The security system goes towards bounty hunting, but isn't necessarily a bounty hunting profession. You know what I mean? So it's like, I agree with you. It's hard to know where exactly they are on all this stuff, but I do think that they're pretty far away from most of it, unfortunately. Yeah, these design documents are very old, and I will continue to drop my disclaimers. Everything in here is very subject to change. A lot of it has already changed. We're trying to find the similarities, though. But this was not what we wanted to do. We wanted to look at mining, because we all want to know what's coming next in mining. Like, we've had mining for 4 years now. Yeah, 4 years now. We're ready to see what's next. Oh, by Tony Zurovic. I'm always so surprised to learn that he's writing about the gameplay mechanics. I forget that he is literally the director of the entire multiplayer aspect of Star Citizen. Like, for as important as Tony is to the PU, you don't hear his name that much, except for when you're talking about Quantum. That always catches me off guard. Let's listen to what he had to say, though. Star Citizen's ultimate objective is to present players with a vast, incredibly detailed universe where everyone can forge their own unique path through the stars. Okay, never mind. We don't have to listen to the marketing. Mining presents players with a variety of challenges requiring skill and intelligence, whereas mindless repetition of a task and idle drudgery are explicitly avoided. Should I try and say this like Tony? I feel like he has a very specific way of talking about this stuff. It's kind of fast, but it's also like, I don't know how to, it's sharp, you know? Where was I? The most valuable materials will often reside deep within a dense field. The result of less experienced pilots being unable to extricate themselves will suffer without suffering serious damage to their ship. Compressed pockets of gas, volatile materials that can explode in the presence of excess energy, and elements that can explode when subjected to seismic vibrations as caused by repeated fragmentation operations all present their own unique types of jeopardy. While most miners will seek to actively avoid armed conflict, the reality is that any ship carrying of cargo of valuable ore will present a tempting target to less scrupulous types, rewarding those players that formulate contingency plans in advance. Whether that be hiring of an NPC crew member extremely talented with defense turrets, or investing a portion of the expected profits into hiring an armed escort or two. Finally, multiple roles of substance are presented, each of which is referred to as a specialist. Every role can occupy the full attention of a player and present sufficient challenge to keep them engaged, or assigned to an NPC whose skills are commensurate with their monthly cost. You know, I wouldn't even say there's a way that Tony talks. He just uses words. Like, you can tell this was written by him. If you go back and watch the Quantum videos, they all sound like this. It's interesting that I don't know, I can't put my finger on it, but it's super, like, it's very noticeable. This is more of a mining lore document than a gameplay design document. Let's see if we can get to some of the, oh geez, this is like a mining lore document, you're right. Let's see. Oh yeah, this is, when was this written? 2015? This is kind of all over the place. All right, I'm gonna skip to the mining specialist thing because here they're just kind of, yeah, he's kind of right. Feels a little lore-y. The onus is on the speaker to impart their meaning. He does it in a very technical way. He does. He does. Let's see. So the first mining specialist would be obviously the pilot. The pilot navigates the ship. While this sounds straightforward in practice, it is very challenging as impacting an asteroid can seriously damage a player's ship. And the asteroids with the most attractive resource compositions are often deep within a concentrated field. Pilots make the final call as to which individual asteroid warrants the most immediate attention. often choosing from an array of possible targets identified via the scanning process. They also determine whether to remain in a fixed position around an asteroid throughout the excavation process or to adopt a more active role, gradually rotating around a selected asteroid and thus giving the beam operators a better opportunity to find and extract valuable pockets of buried ore. I want valuable pockets of ore. I don't want to crack a whole rock. Many asteroids are filled with dangerous materials that, under the right conditions, can blow the asteroid to pieces, increasing the value of a good pilot that can quickly navigate a ship to a safe distance even when the warning time is minimal. You know, I want to believe that we're going to be able to scan a rock and understand not just the composition of the rock, but where the different components of that rock lie. But the way that it's set up so far, I don't see it. Has there been anything in the notes in regards to mining out planets, like creating tunnels or boring holes to get materials underground? They've talked about boring. They've not talked about mining out tunnels, but I think we'll probably hear a little bit more about boring here in a second. The scan operator is responsible for injecting remote material analysis packages into nearby asteroids that, upon success, immediately begin sending telemetry data back to the pilot and scan operator, informing them as to the asteroid's precise material composition. Like, I'm sorry, what? Currently scanning is just bloop. Okay, this has quantanium in it, cool. This is a multifaceted process involving Upon selecting an asteroid, the center of mass is automatically calculated and the scan operator begins the process of gradually scanning for a suitable RMAP insertion point. This is a multifaceted process involving a search for a section of surface geometry oriented such that its perpendicular traverses the center of mass or somewhere close to it. The operator receives feedback on the angular difference, but it's ultimately their call as to whether a given site is good enough or not. This is crazy. Man, that's pretty wild. Once an insertion site has been selected, the location and so you scan first. You scan the rock, you figure out where the right place is to insert your RMAP to, and then you insert the RMAP. So this is a two-step process. And you're using a missile to send the RMAP. So you're firing missiles into these asteroids to scan them. So you scan, and then you fire something in order to map it out. The scan operator may launch an RMAP-equipped missile. The missile's thrust and guidance system are manually controlled, with the objective being to impact the asteroid at the precise point and with the exact orientation dictated via the previous step. The distance from the computer-specified injection position, deviation from the optimal angle, base material of the asteroid, and final impact velocity ultimately determine whether an injection is successful or not. This sounds dirty, dude. We're real dirty. We're getting real dirty with this. Sounds like ED rock probing. It does sound very similar, yeah, with the limpets. One interesting aspect of this particular effort is that the confidence of the scan operator plays a significant role. The more optimal the initial insertion point selected, which typically takes more time to achieve, the larger the error can be in this subsequent missile guidance stage and still achieve a successful insertion. No, it's not dirty, it's simple stuff. No, we're just joking because we're talking about insertions and stuff. You wonder how effective these missiles will be versus ships? Ooh, you gonna inject your RMAP into somebody's ship? You shoot him and it blows up the asteroid in two. Do you think the mining process will actually change towards that? I don't know. I think this kind of stuff is still in the plans. I don't know if it's to this extent, but we've only seen mining tier 2, and you know, I feel like we should be further towards this after tier 2, but we also haven't seen very many medium-sized mining ships or We haven't seen the Orion really, so we don't know if this is something that they'll change when the Orion comes in, but this sounds like something that they would need a stronger foundation for. We got to see changes in scanning, I think, first. If you've done deep core mining in ED, then you know the process. Yeah. The scanning is very similar to the Elite Dangerous stuff. We were talking about mining. It gets pretty dirty in mines. Mines do get dirty. My favorite thing about this is that while it is similar to Elite Dangerous, and I actually do like the model, that's just one operation. Like, that's just one part of mining, you know? There's also all of these other parts of the mining besides that you can get into that just makes it so much deeper if it actually happens. So besides this person who's doing the probing and mining, there's also the beam operator. They are typically the second in command on a mining expedition. They're responsible for wielding the multi-megawatt mining beam generators affixed to one of them, blah, 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 blah. The beam operator has direct control over the output of wattage and is thus able to precisely control how much energy to dispense into a given area of an asteroid. This is critically important as the injection of surplus energy into a volatile material can cause an explosive chain reaction to occur. Skipping ahead a little bit, the beam equivalent of a sledgehammer, therefore, can be used to quickly excavate large quantities of inert materials, but a lower wattage scalpel will be necessary when attempting to safely extricate those that may react violently in the presence of sufficient energy. So it definitely seems like this role has been dumbed down. Either that or they have a lot of work to do on how lasers work. Honestly, this makes me feel like we might have to forget the way we've been mining if they decide to go after this, because this is kind of changing the way things work. I mean, the only role we really have is the beam operator right now, and then we do like a simple scan. But the difference in lasers is all power-based right now, so they've got work to do on how they can differentiate them like this. You could specialize in prospecting or the actual operation of the mining laser. Yeah. Games take good ideas from each other all the time. Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. CIG hasn't said we're mining T1 yet, have they? I don't know if they've explicitly said that. I guess I've always been assuming. See, I assumed that they brought in the mining. Then they had a UI. You know, you make a good point. Maybe they're not even at tier 1. That would be something for us to hear about. Because I thought the additions that they made throughout time were increasing the tiers, you know, the gadgets, the components, the attachments, but maybe those are all still part of tier 0. So there's also the Exothermic reaction detector, because, you know, we don't have enough weird names in this game. I know it's a real thing. Every mineable material has its own unique set of parameters dictating how much energy a given quantity can absorb, how quickly it can dissipate energy, how easily it can transfer excess energy, and its probability of fragmentation, and numerous other things. How many other numerous things could there be? Jeez. The average size of the fragments carved from an asteroid as the result of a mining beam being utilized then depend upon the amount of wattage the beam is injecting into the body. This would be nice to have in the game already. As fragments are torn asunder from the parent body, I love that word, asunder. They generate seismic tremors that resonate throughout the asteroid and only gradually dissipate. Some volatile materials are sensitive to such vibrations, and as such, minimizing the magnitude of any such tremors is often of considerable concern. This is complicated, however, by the fact that such tremors are modeled independently of one another, with the sum total displacement caused by the superposition of the waves constantly being applied against the various materials within the asteroid. So, essentially, be careful with your laser. You might blow up the rock. We kind of have this. It doesn't really have the feedback to give this sort of experience that they're talking about, but it's at least a thing. You spoke with the dev recently and asked about these design docs. Their response was, if CIG hasn't stated an official response that the document is being changed or updated, then these docs are still the final goal. Oh boy. That's lofty. It's awesome to hear about. But after seeing how much it's taken to get mining to where it is, you know, I do expect the development to speed up once some of these other engineering problems have been solved, because engineers can get more into this kind of stuff. But I really need I need some proof of concept for this stuff. The mining beam is equipped with a high energy scanning probe called the Analytical Materials Processor that provides constant feedback as to what type of material lies beneath the surface. Within range of the probe in the specified direction, that's the end of a sentence. Each material identified is presented on a horizontal bar graph. Yeah, you can't even, like, don't even tell us it's a horizontal bar graph. We don't know that. It probably won't be there. Replete with information regarding the depth at which it can be found and the approximate quantity. This is maybe something to consider for that bore mining you were asking about. And we have the cargo operator utilizing the console on the bridge of the ship that allows them to monitor a camera mounted within the forward-facing input port. From that vantage point, the cargo operator can view the impact area of the mining beam, as well as the various asteroid fragments that are broken apart. Sorry, I got distracted by myself. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit. There we go. Providing immediate feedback in regard to the fragment's precise composition. In this manner, the operator is able to get a quick sense as to the relative value of the fragment and whether it is worth attempting to guide it into the input port, or whether it contains so little of value that it's best avoided so as to preserve precious cargo space or time-consuming refining effort. The fragment scanner also displays the object's mass, trajectory, and velocity. Trajectory? Get off of me about trajectory and velocity. If they're going to try and tell us that asteroids will actually be moving, I guess technically they do move in the yellow asteroid belt. Sounds like these specialist positions are all referring to positions available on the Orion. You might be right about that. Let's see. The mining occupation supports a variety of dedicated specialists. They do say just occupation, not necessarily ship, each of which has a critical role to play in the effort. As previously noted, one of the basic objectives in the design of the various occupations is breaking down large, complicated endeavors into a small number of smaller jobs, each of which can test a dedicated player's mettle in unique and interesting ways. This encourages but does not force players to act in concert with one another to accomplish large tasks, as you'll always have the option of simply doing it all yourself. However inefficient that might be, or more likely, simply hiring NPC crew members to work alongside you. There's a lot of thought and effort going into the hiring, evolution, simulation of motivations, and evaluation of such NPC crew members, but that's a topic best left for another discussion, a discussion that centers around Tony. So it might be that these are parts of the mining mechanic, just like medical gameplay has the simple ability to use a medical beam to heal and do all the drug stuff and blah, blah, blah. Maybe you're right in chat, and the prospector and the mole and what they do with just their mining laser is tier 1. So maybe there are other ships that will be dedicated to these things. Like maybe we'll have a ship that's dedicated entirely to sending probes into asteroids and into the ground, because we already know long distance probing is a thing. Maybe we'll have ships that are dedicated to deep scanning into materials, like the Terrapin, but meant more for the industrial side, like a mini Odyssey or something. I don't know. The laser seismometer shows each oh, no, we already saw that. We've seen all this. I'm going to skip the rest of the cargo stuff. Refinery. The position of the refinery operator only exists on mining ships that contain an integrated refinery. Refineries allow raw ore to be gradually converted into their purified component forms, with the undesirable elements being ejected back out into space in the form of dust. Purified materials consume a small fraction of the storage space of their unrefined counterparts, which is of particular concern when dealing with low-quality asteroid fields that possess valuable elements only in highly diffused form, or when attempting to minimize the number of return trips back to a trading or storage facility. Did they remove what again? Curious what they present to us about the Orion towards the end of the year. As far as I know, they have concept phase about it this year. I don't think we'll be hearing about the Orion for a little while, but maybe. Comets would be cool. We don't have an alien mining ship. No, we don't. So you could be a prospector and sell location data of ore you don't want to mine yourself. Exactly. Where was I? The Refinery Operator controls the routing of ore to a variety of specialized processing units, each of which has a different role to play in the separation of one material from another. That sounds like a lot. Why not just one processing unit? Operator errors in the refinement process can cause sensitive equipment to fail, stalling the conversion process and costing valuable time until the affected item is replaced, typically with a surplus part stored in the ship's inventory. All of the aforementioned specialist positions may be helmed by either a player or an NPC, with more experienced NPCs performing their duties in superior fashion, but usually at the expense of demanding a higher monthly salary. Monthly? Y'all getting paid hourly, NPCs, I'm sorry. And did you hear that? Talking about superior fashion, the only way NPCs show superiority is either by standing on chairs or T-posing. Or both. That's their thing. Okay, final step is selling cargo. This isn't really mining related, but I'm sure there's something interesting here. If you accepted a job, you'll want to return to the agent that hired you and complete the transaction, resulting in your account being credited for the promised amount and a bump in your reputation for successfully completing the task. The agent will only purchase the specific type and quantity of materials that you promised to deliver though, so you'll likely want to head to the local TDD to convert any surplus materials into credits. For players that elected to operate as freelance miners, the path is often a bit less clear. Different TDDs at different landing zones may offer dramatically different prices. We're already seeing that. That's good. So you'll often want to do a bit of due diligence and ensure that you're not leaving any money on the table by quickly accepting whatever's being offered at the closest landing zone. That we cannot do because they haven't given us the options to yet. The really significant scores, though, are often made by extracting a common material of limited value in one star system and then transporting it to another where it's in short supply and the prices are much higher. It's your choice as to whether you want to operate exclusively as a miner or do double duty as a transport freighter by lugging your own valuable cargo across the galaxy, and whether the risks you'll face in that endeavor as... This is such a long sentence, Tony. Jesus. Look at this. Look at this sentence. Okay, I'm gonna try this again. It's your choice as to whether you want to operate exclusively as a miner or do double duty as a transport freighter by lugging around your own valuable cargo across the galaxy, and whether the risks you'll face in that endeavor as you get ever closer to an area where your material is highly valued, you'll become a much more tempting target. Are justified by the richest potential paydays. It's like a sentence inside of a sentence. I don't even know how to read that. Oh man. One last option that some miners might wish to undertake is related to speculation. If you're inclined to gamble, some landing zones will offer storage facilities that you can purchase on a monthly basis. Rather than selling your cargo immediately, you might wish to hold on to it with the hope or expectation that, perhaps as a result of actions you're planning to initiate with the aid of your organization, prices might rise significantly in the near future. Whew! That was some reading. This cargo stuff's actually pretty solid in the game. Like we already know this information, I guess. We've got changing prices, but we've kind of already been led to expect that cargo isn't really going to be that cool until we can go to different systems to sell stuff that's just not available in that system. But, you know, we haven't heard any sort of... This is the kind of news that I would like to hear about 4.0 and Pyro. When they're talking about these monthly updates that we're going to start getting in September about 4.0, these are the things I want to hear about. Is having a new system going to change the way that cargo gameplay is going to work? Because that's what's going to matter. They've hired Johann Wolfgang von Goethe to write that. Does he have crazy compound sentences? Oh, they moved back the Orion? Ouchie. Do I think there's a way to make bars more active? You'd love a quest giver that would move to different locations on random, but always stay at the bar. Yes. Yes, 100% yes. In fact, haha, video proof. I love it when that happens. Check out this person. Where are you? Here, this guy. This, my friend, is Eddie Parr. He is a bartender. He is a planned mission giver. He's already been modeled out. He was actually on the roadmap for a while until they realized that mission givers were kind of broken. But this dude is a bartender in New Babbage who is meant to give you missions, and you can actually find him at New Babbage already. He just hasn't been turned into his mission giver self. He is there serving drinks, but he's not really doing much else. Right? Eddie Parr is the bartender, right? He's not the advocacy agent. Those are those other two people. He just has a really cool getup. But yeah, so on top of the fact that we're going to have mission givers who are bars? Mission givers are bars now. Did you know that? Check this out. My wife hates that I hate that my memory barely works, except for when it comes to Star Citizen. For some reason, I remember things and it's actually kind of miserable. But if you look on the monthly report that we got for June, let me think. I know they've got it here somewhere. No. Come on, I know it's... Hacking. Here we go. Check this out. So Narrative is already talking about this. These line sets were... Additionally, the writers created several scripts and had a recording session for the frontier vendors who will populate bars and shops in the more remote corners of the universe. These line sets were expanded to include the ability for the vendors to offer players jobs and missions in preparation for when that mechanic becomes available. So, not only is our bars going to get more interesting, they're actively working on it. Besides that, I do think that once we have server meshing and better support for AI, we will see more people in the bars, interacting in the bars, doing things in the bars. They're talking up here about, I believe, AI dancing or something. Or maybe that was in my video. I think that was in my monthly report. I talked about they've been working on things like people who are dancing, people who are drinking, people who are hanging out and talking to each other, using arcade machines, all that kind of stuff. They're working on making these places more alive. And if I can, there's actually some footage they showed us recently of an NPC getting their drink at a bar and then going over to a table to sit down and sip on it a little bit. But I'm not going to spend too much time trying to find that because this is a massive folder and it's got a lot of footage and I have not organized it yet. I don't actually really have the time to at the moment. Would definitely be an AI thing though, and I'm not seeing any AI. Sort by name, please. AI. Huh, no, I don't have it here. That's surprising. Very suspicious. Oh well. Where was I? Jeez, we got all kinds of distracted, huh? We were talking about mining. Allows for drifter gameplay where you go from system to system, picking up whatever odd job you come across. Yeah, I think a lot of people are excited for that kind of gameplay. You go to one system, and you know what's really cool? You go to one system, and you do a bunch of jobs, you get some rewards, you make some reputation, and then you show up to another system in clothes like this, and people can look at you and be like, oh, this person works in this, like, that's pyro gear. I've seen that before in pyro, that's crazy. So this person, they like to hang out in those kind of dangerous areas, and they do this for every system. Like, you can find... like these clothes, you're never gonna find this in Pyro. You're not gonna find this in Magnus. You're not gonna find this in Levski. You're not gonna find this in Banshee or Idris or Orion. These are Stanton clothes. And if you go and you take these somewhere else into some other system and you start wearing them, people who are really into the game at least will notice that. And I think that's so cool. It really builds on the story of what you're doing when you're playing. What's my prediction on the Polaris release? Not for a while, I imagine. Did you just download the internet? I actually, I got it on a floppy disk. Simply made a backup of the internet. Everything, all at once, all the time. All right, what's next? What do you guys want to see next? We don't have access to any exploration I'm seeing, but we do have some other interesting things around here. Let's click back into repair or the new damage system. Oh, so they had something for the damage system and for the repair system. Oh, here's that video I was trying to find for you earlier. Look at that, they've already got it here. So you can kind of see like parts of the ship fragmenting off and all that jazz. We came across it. Very nice. You bought the airliner, the Genesis, the Starliner? But yeah, that's kind of the idea of the damage system and where they want to keep taking it. All right. So what are we doing next, folks? We've got the Moby Glass. We've got healing. We've got the economy, death of a spaceman, which is essentially like permadeath and how that works. We've got medical gameplay, fuel mechanics, cargo, turrets, ship thrusters, ship mass, literally just the Endeavor, and passenger transport. What are y'all thinking? Economy? We got 2 votes for economy. Piracy. I don't think we have anything for piracy on here. 3 votes for economy. Economy. You want to see cargo? Shipyard careers. We actually did shipyard careers. That's the first thing we did. You could drop back into the stream though and check that out if you'd like. Just trying to exist. Thanks for subscribing over there on Twitch with the Amazon Prime sub. I appreciate the support. Thank you so much. What's the idea for medical back then? Okay, we got a vote for medical. We got 4 votes for economy, cargo, Endeavor, more economy, more cargo and economy, airflow and life support. Did not see anything about life support on here. Third system is Nyx. Probably, yeah. I think so. How complex or involved do I think the medical play is going to get and when? I think it will stop short of surgery, but I do think it's going to get much more in-depth than it is now. Don't think that's going to be for another few years, though. Hold on. Permadeath? How in the hell are they going to introduce permadeath when the game glitches and elevators are by far the biggest killers? Well, the game's in alpha now, so we won't be getting any of these mechanics permanently until the game launches, which is still years away. So this is all talking about final game stuff. Right now in alpha, you won't need to ever worry about permadeath, but again, it's different from what you would think of as permadeath. We can definitely go into it here, but it's not exactly permadeath. You'll never permanently lose your stuff. At least most of your stuff. All right, economy it is. Okay. Let's see. Do you guys want all the lore, or do you just want the good stuff? What's up, Nessus? How you doing? Death of a Spaceman is really far out, but I would consider it required reading for any citizen. Yeah, it is required reading. That's a super important thing to know about this game. Unless you eat too many double dogs, even cloning can't save arteries then. Nonsense. I have a medical gun. I can just shoot myself with good stuff and get healthy. Does each update go through the same number of phases before being pushed to live? No. We've had patches that were in PTU for 4 weeks. We've had patches in PTU for 1 or 2 weeks. Hello, Mrs. Tomato. One last question. Is permadeath basically going to be like if there was an old style server wipe? No. In short, permadeath is like I want to call it the cat model. Not necessarily because we know you're going to have 9 lives, but you're going to have several lives. You're going to have 1 main life and 9 auxiliary lives inside of that 1 main life. Now, you rarely lose one of those 9 lives, but when you do, you come back. Maybe you have scars. Maybe you've lost some reputation because you suck at your job. Maybe people just think you die all the time and they don't want to hang out with you. You know, dying people kind of can be like they could throw off your game if you're trying not to die. So you have that. And you keep going through those lives, get your stuff back, retrieve your stuff. Think of it as a roguelike or like a DayZ where you have to go back and get your inventory. But at the end of those 9 lives, you finally lose your real life. That life is gone. That character is gone. They're wiped out from history. But when you made that character, you started out by making a successor, a kid, I don't know, a niece, a nephew, somebody. And when you lose that one final life, you basically just transfer over to that secondary character you made, and all of your belongings get transferred over to them as well. Now, obviously, you'd have to pay taxes and stuff, some fees for the medical parts. You lose reputation because obviously you're not the same person. You're only living off of the reputation of your elder who just died. So you kind of have to prove yourself. But for the most part, everything's the same. They're just trying to build in these consequences and these deterrents to try and help you value that life. Because if you don't value life in a game like this, it's really hard to force you into the game mechanics that make it more fun. They actually there's some pretty cool stuff here too for when it comes to whether or not, like what happens when you come back from death after you've been killed one of those times. They have all kinds of stuff. Where the heck? So like Cybernetics, for example, this is something that would happen during one of those 9 lives. You might get killed, and in that injury, you got a leg blown off. Turns out, just by happenstance, that when you came back, that leg didn't come back with you, and you have to get a cybernetic. And they have been modeling these things out. I don't think I have the models here, but they've been showing off different like robotic limbs that you can get. Just concept, but the idea is there. Yeah, virtual taxes, baby. You rarely lose a life. 89 lifetime deaths. Hey, 89 lifetime deaths is not that bad. How long has it been? How many days since January 14th, 2022? That's not too bad. 185, 89 deaths. That's like what? One death every 2.3 days? Okay, 2.1. Sure, but still. Only one death every 2 days. I'd be okay. I only would have gone through, I don't know, 10 characters by now. But obviously we die a lot now, and we're gonna die less as the game, doesn't throw us through walls and glitch us through floors. But let's talk about the economy, because that's what y'all voted for. This is a good topic. This is a big one. Heavy hitter. Okay. Wait, is this written by Tony as well? Who's this written by? Actually, you know what? Let's see if we can figure out who this is written by this style. Oh, never mind. It's Chris and Rob Irving. Tony came from humble beginnings, making a living in his early days slinging a battered Aurora Clipper around the Ellis system, hauling ore for his father's mining operations on Pinecone. The day that he was able to make the jump to Keel and purchase a shiny new freelancer from the Musashi showroom, there was the proudest moment of his life, his young life. This was a young boy. From there, he found joy navigating the major trade lanes, picking up bigger and more important loads and making a name for himself in the Merchants Guild. I gotta love that Merchants Guild. The longer the run, the better. He was seeing the universe and making a living at the same time. Starstruck, he'd ventured out into the black. Eventually, A&F purchased its own ore refinery to ease the costs of getting their ore into the market. Already, Tony dreams of moving up the chain, producing his own metal parts for the major weapon manufacturers. The stars, my friends. They are the limit. I don't know what the heck that, I guess that was just some lore. One of the most frequently asked about systems in Star Citizen is the game's economy. This is still true today. Today, we'd like to give you a brief introduction to that system and how it works to make the game richer, more immersive, and more fun. For those of you who are YouTube channel members or Twitch subscribers, I just put out an exclusive video that goes into the whole history of how this system came to be from about this time until now. It's available on the YouTube channel, or if you're a Twitch subscriber, it's available on my Discord server, but check it out. It's probably a little bit more interesting than this stream because it's got B-rolls and stuff. Star Citizen is at its heart a vast living world that combines a remarkably detailed space combat simulation with an equally in-depth model of the economy of a star-spanning empire. Oh, excuse me, Jesus. This was written in July of 2013, by the way. So this is 9 years old. Take it with a grain of salt. This article will shed some light on the engine that makes the economy go. As with all early releases of design information, this is a work in progress, particularly with the economy, which is a very volatile system and will require the most careful balancing. Systems and data are subject to change. Insane streamer tells his audience his stream is not interesting. I mean, it's either watch this stream or go watch an exclusive video. Either way, you're supporting me, you're watching me, and hopefully you're enjoying yourself. I'm just trying to, put a little more cookies on the table for you. Oh yeah, Patreon works too. But you already know that. Beard and hair going to have space lint and dehydrated food stuck in it. Ew, that's gross. Okay, in order to create a fairly stable economy, and yet one that is still able to be affected by player actions, the economy in Star Citizen is built to represent millions of entities. These are what we know as quanta. They didn't know that back then, but we know it now. So technically, we're all smarter than Chris Roberts in this document. Good job. Miners and other resource gatherers work to extract basic resources from the available supply. Traders collect those goods and deliver them to other places. Escorts protect those convoys from harm. Refineries turn the raw goods into processed goods, and factories collect these processed goods to build the finished products that are in demand on worlds throughout the Star Citizen universe just for good measure, I know this isn't necessary at all, but I do I feel like it really helps to see their consistency here. So I'm gonna pull this up. This is a video from 2019, right? 6 years after that post, we can see that they were still presenting the economy in the same way. Quanta is at all locations, resources get gathered at one, refining at another, built at a factory, and then sold at a shop in another place. So this is a consistent model that they've been pushing for 9 years every time they talk about the economy. Where were we? I always lose my spot. These goods are not assigned an arbitrary fixed price at each location. Instead, we're creating an organic system that keeps track of how much of everything is available, how much it is needed, where it is needed, and what individuals are willing to pay to get it. Because the simulation reflects a real population going about their business, if a player is not available to carry ore from Ellis to Terra, an NPC cargo hauler will step in and run the route. If escorts are needed and players are unavailable to escort that transport, then NPC pilots will escort the vessel. This is really the kicker of the economy for me. This is what makes it so damn special. I'm not special. I actually don't know how other economies work. But this is what gets me. Because if they always make sure that NPCs are picking up jobs that are not necessarily being taken, that means that they don't have to cater every single job to be the highest paying or the most interesting or the most exciting. They can have jobs that are sometimes boring, but every once in a while a player might want to take. And if a player doesn't take it, it still gets fulfilled. So if a player assigned it, they're still getting their stuff. If a factory needed parts, that factory is still going to get the stuff. It might not be as fast as if a player had done it, but the system keeps chugging along even if players aren't necessarily interested in something. So CIG doesn't have to be like, well, you know what? People don't really like being transporting boxes full of space crabs across this star system. It's super important for Microtech to keep running, but nobody wants to do it. And then they just say, oh, well, I guess we won't have boxes of crabs. Instead, they can still be like, hey, we like that feature and we think that feature is going to make this game run. We'll keep it in there and the NPCs will take care of it. At least that's what I think they're thinking. But I don't really think much about what they're thinking because their thoughts are much thinkier than mine. Because the simulation reflects a real population going about their business, if a player is not available, we already said this. Meanwhile, the nodes that are producing, refining, and consuming these goods are run by non-player characters as well. As players progress in the game, they may choose to purchase some of these facilities and take over the day-to-day oversight. I hope they don't regret making that statement. It's all about the nodes. The Star Citizen universe is made up of literally thousands of nodes that drive the economy. A node is an abstract entity that accepts one or more types of input goods and outputs one or more types of output goods. The most basic nodes are atomic entities, meaning that they cannot be divided further. These atomic nodes are then combined to make up larger nodes that behave in the same fashion as the atomic node, requiring certain inputs and producing certain outputs. When these nodes operate together, they are able to handle some portions of their business in a self-contained fashion, while other needs must be met by external entities, whether NPC trade routes or player-run missions. Again, some more footage for this because they were 100% talking about these nodes back in 2019. It's basically the idea of how they need to create an economic node and use that in the system to become a, I guess, item and material, or an item and money sink to keep the game running. But I mean, this is a super basic graphic representation of nodes. It just goes to show that this is all they've been talking about whenever they talk about the economy. What's up, Mace? How are you doing? How dare they? Those crabs. All right, so there are node inputs, which are the types of things that a node requires to operate. If too little of any given need is supplied, the node will lose productivity and alter prices and processing capacity in reaction to the shortage. Again, going back to what I said about those boxes of crabs and how they can make sure that even if people don't want to take the job, it will get taken. They're still building in some area for it to shift in price and demand, right? An NPC won't immediately take it just because it's up. But they also won't let it go for so long that the game just starts to grind to a halt if players aren't doing things. Node storage. Storage tells us how much of each thing a node can have on hand at one point. If the node's storage for a particular desired item is full, the node will stop requesting that item until quantities diminish. Conversely, if a node's storage is nearly out of a desired good, then the node will raise prices and spawn additional missions in an attempt to rectify the shortage. Output items also take up storage space until they are sold or transported elsewhere. Again, if there is too much of a produced good item on hand, the node will slow down production and reduce prices until demand increases sufficiently. If too little is on hand, prices will increase until production can catch up. As a node grows, it can buy additional warehouse space to expand storage capacity. Again, a little too much detail, I think. A node's processing capacity is determined by the number of workers in that node, their current happiness, and the quality of processing equipment that is currently installed. As a node grows, it can upgrade existing equipment or add additional space/equipment in order to accommodate more production. And just to show, this is yet another thing that they were showing us back in 2019. As you can see, the price fluctuations going on the left side there as the quanta go about their day and do their stuff. Now, this doesn't show a price drop off, but I believe I have something that does. I think this. There it is. So you can see that on this graph here. Can you see that? Let me move this over a bit. Okay. So you can see on this graph here that they were running the simulation inside of the quantum system. The economy is called quantum. Please, for the love of God, please call it quantum. People are getting so confused by the names. Quantum is the name of the system. Quantum is the name of each of these little green things flying around. The plural version of that to describe the entirety of all of those little quantum flying around are quanta. The system itself isn't called quanta. But now that we're past that, you can see that they had looks like an inventory. Where are we? So on Laranite, hold on, let me get this straight. Okay. So what I think is going on here is we have a factory that is producing a good that uses one material as well as Laranite. And what happened, it seems, was they used up all of their inventory of the first thing they needed, and because they couldn't continue to improve that, they couldn't continue to produce that good, the Laranite stockpile skyrocketed. And so the price of the Laranite also fell. So they're kind of showing that that dynamic nature of these economic nodes is something that exists in the simulations they're running. The only thing this works for right now, though, is fuel, repairing, refueling, and rearming at stations. So we can't really see this that much yet. Again, another inventory spike going on there with aluminum, it looks like. God knows why. I don't know why. But this is all, you can see all of this kind of stuff continuing to happen in their talk from 2019 or in my recent quantum economy video I put out on the channel. Doesn't Tony call the NPCs flying around handling this simulation quanta? He calls the multitude of them quanta. He defines them as quantum and then states that the plural version of that is quanta. He actually defines them on screen here. So he explains that quantum is the name of the system, the simulation, how it all works. And then, okay, you know what? Let me see if I can pull up the video. Because I only recently discovered that they call it quantum the plural, or quanta the plural of quantum or whatever. What was the talk? It was building a dynamic universe? Star Citizen? I think that was it. It was. All right, so somewhere in here.
Back into that, all of the player actions into one unified whole. So there's really no difference. There are some optimized areas, the probability volumes that exist in between these two realities, but really this, this is the full-blown simulation. It takes into account all the player actions. So let's go ahead and start by bringing 1,000 quanta to life.
Okay, so he already.
The primary reason death around there, tags, there are a number of these will be that I was talking about earlier.
I don't even know if I'm going to be able to find it.
Let's go ahead and back out a little bit. Meaning, Crusader.
No.
Yeah, I'm supposed to flip.
It's exciting.
So this is quantum, and I know what you're thinking, and I've seen this before. If the visuals look, particularly familiar, it's because we started with the solar system map that we released years ago.
Did they decided why they needed to name the simulation Quantum? Funny enough, they named it Quantum. The only proof that I have for why they named it Quantum, he says somewhere in here. Let's see if I can find it.
We need, if we're ever going to reach a point where we can deliver new solar systems
This is
in
it.
a reasonable amount of time, then we're going to need to make a quantum leap.
That's it, right there. That's the only proof of why I can figure out why they named it Quantum, because he says it is a quantum leap. And then
So, what's the solution?
he introduces Quantum.
Split screens.
And then they go
Quantum is
through.
totally different.
They talk about
Everything
it.
you see on the screen, then that's
Where is it? Come on.
portals are. Let's go ahead and bring that connected to all. So
I honestly don't know. I almost don't know if this is but what came first? You're right. It might have been that the name came first. It could be that the name came first. I'm like, but why would they name it Quantum? Why would they name it after a travel method,
each of those red dots now
let's see.
would be playing the game tactic to say.
So this was supposedly all of the. Can you stop? Just for a couple seconds. This is supposedly all of the active players at the time that they did this, and I don't know if I believed it, or I don't know if I believe it now.
Here are all the players.
Sounds like each
Three
AI
dots
is what
show
he
up.
calls quanta. It's not. I promise
So
you.
let's-
I did a lot of research on this when I made my
Go
video.
ahead and continue the tour of the. You can see are inevitably mine. Let's go ahead
I just have to find the spot.
and let's go ahead and jump to Circo. And you can actually see some deaths down, and you actually personal
Buddy.
probability volumes that I was talking about earlier.
The definition of quantum in real life is the minimum amount of any
lots of
physical
ads.
entity involved in an interaction.
As I
Does that make sense in the context?
The bounty hunter tag, what it's doing is for us to do a shop. And yeah, and what the cool, but it doesn't really solve any of the fundamental problems that I mentioned earlier, and that's totally true.
Exotic
so let's
fruit.
Clear the board. So
Yeah, so it works.
the primary reason for quantum's existence is to enable us to have one unified world where we can, simulate millions of NPCs whole. So there's really no difference. There are some optimized areas, the probability volumes that exist in between these two realities, but really,
You want me to stop? No. Yeah, they're like, hey, we're going too long. You guys want me to stop? No. That's when Tony became immortalized in Star Citizen lore.
It takes into account all the player actions. So let's go ahead and start by bringing 1,000 quanta to life. You on the wrong one?
Okay. He just said it again, right? He does refer to them as quanta
Here
all the
is
time.
The number of quanta up to 1,000.
I guess it'd be weird to say, let's bring the quantums to life, right?
Streaming in from another system.
Flowing into the universe there.
These are simulated entities.
quantum drive economy. I don't.
When you're talking about the real significance of this is when you're talking the vast multi-dynamic, we don't act that we would get if we were actually.
All right, I'm kind of overlooking for this.
These NPCs don't do a whole slew, and if we did it,
Personality trait.
traits that we're modeling. We're still working out the exact configuration. One of them is ambition, and that specifies how far a quantum can push themselves relative to others, whether in crime or.
Okay, so he must have said it because he just referred to it as a quantum.
That we're modeling. We're still working out the.
There's something going on.
Yeah, there are a number.
Personality traits too.
That specifies how far a quantum can push themselves relative to others,
I'm over it.
whether in crime or legitimate enterprise. Another one is happiness and unhappy quantum. Change their situation, move to a new location, change occupations, and that sort of thing. Aggression controls the lengths to which a quantum will go to achieve their objective. A business-oriented quantum with a lot of aggression might push their workers harder, trading their happiness for more profit, and as a result have to deal with more turnover. And lastly, criminality, that determines the amount of criminal behavior that a quantum will consider. No criminality equates to a law-abiding quantum.
But I mean,
having little means that they might be willing to commit.
Yeah, quanta is the plural of quantum. So like, I can't find the part where he says that, but he does say it here, and I think that's pretty important info that they just like they never ever say again.
Probability volumes that I was talking about earlier.
It's fiction.
So
good call, Rivixie.
As I mentioned, there are a variety of different types and lots of different content and thematic tags for all these things. So you can see everything from.
Okay, I'm over this. Let's go back to the talk. Glane, thank you for the $2 super chat. Watch them add a new energy drink called Quantum Energy. Wish I had like a delay that I could add for this. Quantum Energy. Energy. It's the best I can do. I don't have good special effects. Basically, CIG is very good at a lot of things except making things. I like some of what they've made. Don't get too hung up on quanta versus quantum. It's one of those awkward words where the plural can be itself or not. There's a couple of those in English. It's not so much the plural versus singular that bugs me. It's the fact that I keep running into like... I would say there's been 3 or 4 different times where I have been vehemently corrected about using the wrong word, and I'm like, and at some point, we're gonna have this weird thing where CIG is either gonna have to change the name of the system in order to, you know, work with what is common knowledge, or like they need to specify that the system itself isn't called quanta, or just not care, let people call it whatever. Seems like that physics definition could be easily swappable with SCAI. I feel like there's a joke in there. What was the definition? Something about them not working. Oh, where were we? We got so off topic. As a node grows, it can buy blah, blah, blah. We already did that. Node outposts. Okay. When a node has the necessary raw materials, it produces output based upon its production capacity. That output is then stored in the warehouses until it can be distributed. The equation for node production will look something like this. They have a freaking equation for it. NPCs aren't quanta, not exactly. Yeah, they're not exactly quanta. Quanta is like the virtual part of them. If they are virtual AI, they might be probability volume AI. I'm the pedantic one. Kiss my. I'm the pedantic a-hole who keeps correcting people. I'm sorry, but it's true and it bugs me. Production per cycle, the number of units produced per tick. Worker morale, number of workers required plus times their morale. Equipment percentage, size of the facility, and material coefficient, which is the minimum percentage available of all required construction units. So the equation is worker morale times equipment percentage times material coefficient equals production per cycle. Wow. I wonder what... Here we go. I wonder what something like this would look like if you just took everything happening in this supposed simulation and put it on a paper or like a book and just included all of the the equations. Look at how much freaking crap is happening in here. Like, and that's happening for each one of these nodes. They will be connected to Quanta though. That's what Tony C said during CitizenCon. Right, so the way it works is there are different types of AI. There are virtual AI, which connects subsumptive AI with quantum-based AI. So you'll have the ability for a quantum AI, one of these who are simulating the verse, to drop out of this quantum simulation into the real world where we see them and become subsumption AI, or an NPC as we know them. Then we also have probability volume AI, who don't have all of these crazy aspects that these people do. They just are something that spawns in to take the place of a mission. Like if you need a turret gunner on a ship that just spawned because you flew into a dangerous area, they'll just spawn a probability volume AI or an NPC that can take care of that job. Now they're an NPC, but they aren't a quantum NPC. They don't simulate stuff. They don't finish that job with you and go off somewhere else and do something. They just eliminate it just like that. So it's kind of confusing, but you have subsumption AI, virtual AI, and then quantum AI. And you also have probability volume NPCs, we'll call them. I did hear we would be able to move fuel around via Starfarers from and to locations like how cargo is working right now. Yeah, for sure. All right, types of nodes. What is this? Entertainment node? That's where I'll be. I think somebody asked what my playstyle of choice would be. Definitely data running, data brokering, exploration, all the data stuff. I like knowing things and sharing known things. It's fun. So the types of nodes. While there are many different varieties of each node, there are a limited number of general types of nodes. People are extracted into population nodes so that every other node in the game does not have to track the basic needs of its workers in addition to its other inputs. That way, nodes other than population nodes will not need to track anything other than whether they have enough workers to determine their effectiveness on the human side. I'll probably get into hacking, yeah. If a group of settlers arrive on a previously uninhabited world, a population node is created first. Every inhabited area will consist of, at the minimum, a single population node, an entertainment node, and a landing node. For outposts and other small colonies, a raw materials node will generally round out the landing zone, perhaps with a reseller for basic supplies. Some planets will have only a single cluster of nodes, while others will have much larger clusters in several different planetary locations. Sounds like Terra, or Prime. All you node is you're excited. I see you, Ryan. That's a pretty good one. I like it. Taken as a whole, a planet can also be looked at as a single macro node, as it still has a set of resources that it needs and a set of resources available to trade. If the people are happy and productive, then nodes will continue to grow, enabling further nodes to be added to take advantage of the additional labor. When that now thriving colony needs to increase its production both to satisfy its own needs and to grow trade, perhaps an entrepreneur will decide that a nearby plot of land would be perfect for a new casino to keep those workers happy. That whole paragraph feels like a conceptual game design for a real-time strategy game. I'm not even gonna consider that'll actually happen. That's the kind of thing that I'm like, ooh, that's gonna be amazing if it happens, but I really don't expect people to settle on a planet and the population to grow and more nodes to come by and it to grow into a city. I don't know about all that. I would love for that to happen, but I don't know. All right, so node types. The production chain. The simple example above is far short of the actual complexity of the production chain. Don't tell me that. That was complex. When are we getting Terra? Oh boy. I'm gonna go ahead. You know what? Write it down. Let's say I'm gonna throw a wild guess out there and say 2026. Be cool if it was earlier, but that's gonna be that's my thing. Hey Google, remind me on. Hey Google, remind me on July of 2026. Did we get Terra? Ugh. All right. July 21st of 2026. Thank you. Get Terra? Jesus. How long have you been a thing? Learn how to talk, computer. You heard it here first, chat. Straight from Tomato. Yeah, we'll see. I got a reminder set for myself. I feel like I'm going to regret it and probably look back at myself and be like, haha, you idiot. But, you know, why not? All right, where were we? You don't just turn a lump of ore into a spaceship. Instead, there are many steps and many actors involved in the creation of just a single aurora. Very large amounts of raw resources must be combined into the necessary basic materials to build the ship's frame. Oh, I probably just triggered a bunch of people's Google. I'm sorry. I wasn't even thinking about that. My bad. I think I did that in a video one time. Very large amount of raw resources must be combined into the necessary basic materials to build the ship's frame, cockpit, electronics, HUD screens, seats, and other building blocks. Building blocks, that's the UI. Meanwhile, other manufacturers are building the guns and missiles that will be added to the finished ship. Manufactured goods are not unlimited. If nearby missile factories suddenly have shortage of necessary components, escorts who come in from an extended firefight to restock may find missile prices very high or stocks depleted entirely. For the biggest, most complex products, production can take a very long time. If it takes Aegis a month to produce an Idris and there has been a recent run on Corvettes, you might find yourself waiting a while to pick up a shiny new ship from their shipyards. I imagine that's the kind of thing you're going to have to deal with if you don't have insurance. But I also think that what they're talking about here with the shortage of missiles at a factory, that I think is the natural progression of the what is it called? Ninetales Lockdown? Is that it? You know the event, the dynamic event where Ninetales takes over a space station? They already have started to work in some blockade aspects of that. I think this is where they're headed. They're going to start to make it kind of a thing that happens at times where people literally have to go in and clear the route or bring in more valuable goods. And they might link that to things that are already going on in the system. For instance, if Xenothreat was attacking near Microtech, then Microtech might be running a little bit lower on missiles and repair and rearming stuff, which could give Ninetales an opportunity to blockade that station or another station and take advantage of that. You know, we don't know how far these things are going to cascade into each other, but the blockade aspect of this game is pretty interesting considering this economy. You'd love the crafting to be like how Warframe is, gives you real time to pass the craft. Right, yeah. Also just want to be able to create armor sets with your color and logos. That would be nice. You better not have to pay for that. Or not pay, but I guess, yeah, pay. Don't put that behind a paywall. This is why lore is important, so players can know what to expect in said systems. Yeah, it's very important to this game, lore. I mean, all the way down to like which company is making your component, right? ArcCorp makes quantum drives. If you work for somebody who doesn't like ArcCorp, not saying that'll ruin your reputation with them, but it's a little bit of a disconnect there, you know? All right, keeping resources flowing. Heavily populated systems will often have very consistent needs for resources, as well as having fairly constant exports available. Systems that can meet one another's needs may set up regular trade lanes, which will cause transport missions to be launched at a regular frequency to deliver needed goods to a constant buyer. I'm expecting we'll get a lot of that in Stanton. A ton, because it's just always stuff going back and forth. If these lanes go through more dangerous space, they may be diverted to take longer routes or request escorts to accompany the mission. In such a case, players who own larger transports or are interested in escort duty can step in to take over these missions, provided that they are well known to the corporations or organizations in question. At any point where expected production levels have not been reached, freely available trade goods will become more limited. Regularly established trade routes will be last to suffer from shortages. Nodes where buyers have less need and nodes that are farther away from protected space will request resources on less frequent basis, and missions of this sort will generally be given to the lowest bidder. Although relationships might be established with traders who perform frequent services for the client. Get that reputation up though. This, I think, is something we'll start to see for the first time in Pyro. We'll probably have some pretty exceptional trade routes shipping medical supplies from Stanton to Pyro. We also might be able to see stuff like rearming components, missiles, ammunitions, food, things that Pyro isn't producing for itself might get really valuable sent to Pyro. And then Pyro on its own also has much more valuable minerals than Stanton does, so you might see the opposite on that end of things. For emergencies where deliveries have been disrupted or some sort of major event has caused a sudden shortage of resources, higher paying missions will be sent out on a first come, first served basis. Similar missions will be generated when a location that is typically self-sustaining with regards to some resources experiences a change in conditions, such as drought, riots, or other events that cause a temporary shift in that area's ability to provide for its own basic needs. Doesn't really sound like dynamic events, right? They sound like natural triggers that they can just send into the verse. Hey, this city just suffered from a huge storm. They need more stuff. I don't know. I don't know about it. I don't know about it. Whatever route players choose to trade along, there will always be a place for traders by of any means to make a living throughout the Star Citizen universe. That's always good to know. Thanks for the reassurance. Reassurance. God, why couldn't I think I'm losing control of my mouth brain. Tony showed that off in the Quantum video in 2019. The price is going up. Yeah, price hikes as things get cut off. Making your name as an industry giant. Even players who start out with the most humble of beginnings may eventually grow vast trading empires. Starting with small, on-demand cargo runs, players can grow their wealth, acquire larger ships, build their reputations with the biggest corporations, and establish their own trade lanes that span the galaxy. You're also going to need to make a lot of friends. Players and organizations who amass enough wealth can take control of individual production nodes and begin building an industrial empire. The most aggressive entrepreneurs may take over whole sections of a supply chain and begin producing their own goods for sale on the open market. If they can keep the resources flowing, but be warned, some large corporations don't appreciate competition. Yeah, I can see that. While you are running your own... God, I hate this song. I say it every time. While you are running your own mine, refinery, or factory, you will be interested in more than just the raw materials that it needs. If you're... Oh, there was an exclamation point at the end of that sentence. Do I have to reread that? Gotta be a little more excited. Hold on. Getting the character. While you're running your mine, refinery, or factory, you will be interested in more than just the raw materials that it needs. I feel like an exclamation point maybe didn't fit there. I don't know. To me, what doesn't make sense is that you will be allowed to go to Pyro when it's known as a pirate hive. There should be blockades both ways and only smuggling would be viable, but they changed the lore. It's no longer a pirate hive, it's considered a frontier system. It's just lawless, so there's a lot of crime. But there's still, I believe there is a military presence at the Stanton Systems entrance, but I don't think they block people from going there. Because Pyro is still a transit system to a lot of other important systems. People have to be able to just fly through there, you know? Keenan, do you think SC will ever have content similar to dungeons or raids in WoW? Areas that present a high level of difficulty need to be cleared with groups? I don't think you'll ever be forced to take a group into a certain area, but I do think there will be high value areas that you'll naturally want to go to, and it'll be smart to take a group with you. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the bunker runs, the cave runs already feel kind of like dungeon runs, and we barely have any loot. Pyro is just the bad side of the tracks, that's all. Seems like it would have been a better idea to add high sec system before a low sec one. Well, Stanton is the high sec system. It's the high security counterpart to the low security pyro system. And then they're supposed to be doing another system which is in between, which would be Nyx. It's lawless to an extent. It's not necessarily run by the UEE or somebody associated with them, but it's also kind of like you can, you know, get away with some things. Tommy is going wild out there. After this page, I'm going to go check out what's going on with her. The Star Citizen economy is certainly a vast undertaking. Oh, I didn't finish. I'm sorry. I just got to the exciting sentence. If your production node slows down because it doesn't have enough workers or their morale is low, you will need to help support the local population node or make sure that there are enough entertainment nodes to keep your workers happy and productive. Entertainment nodes. Wink. If you didn't catch it, wink. The Star Citizen economy is certainly a vast undertaking. In addition to making a massive space combat simulation, we are also building a simulation of the economic universe in which the characters live. We offer players the ability to participate as much or as little in the economy as they desire. As new worlds are discovered, That's the only time I think I've ever heard about them talking about actually discovering worlds. I'm going to... Yeah, this was before they redid the whole game, so I'm going to ignore that. Because I don't think we're going to be... Maybe we'll discover worlds, but I don't think anybody should set their expectations that it will happen. Colonies are born and new cities grow on the frontier. Each type of player can be a link somewhere in the economic chain. So throughout all of this, I've been talking about how I'm kind of unsure about some of it. I myself keep forgetting this is a 9-year-old document, so there's very much the chance that this stuff has changed based on the way the scale of the game has changed. So all of this is taken with a grain of salt. I think this is a good display of the direction they want to go in, but I don't think all of this is for sure. George, thank you so much for becoming a member on YouTube. I appreciate you with that support. I hope you enjoy the exclusive videos and the Discord chat if you so choose to participate. It's supposed to feel like one, yet it doesn't feel like high security, especially with Ninetales having their base there. I think they're still missing I think they're missing a lot of the aspects that make it feel better. Granted, I don't know if any system in this game is going to be without like big like gangs and stuff. I think that they kind of, the way the lore is and the way that they keep on expanding the lore makes it really feel like this game is sort of this universe is kind of a get messed up kind of universe. Like you're always at risk. I think it's probably the trade lanes and the planets that are safe, and then kind of deep space and the asteroid belts and stuff that are not. But maybe they'll change Stanton a little bit more because it is supposed to be high security, not quite Terra high security, but definitely a contrast to Pyro. Isn't Crusader also just private military security since the system is owned by companies? Yeah, Crusader has their own, every one of the companies have their own private security forces, but the UEE does have a presence in Stanton. They have an advocacy office there where they operate out of. They have regular escorts and patrols in the system. I believe... Man, Astropub, you still in here? Paul would have a lot of great things to say about this. Okay, I think we got time for one more of these. These take a lot longer than I thought they would. What else do you want to know? I remember somebody was asking for medical? The whole Invictus section is for the UEE. Yeah, it's for the UEE. Hacking was asked earlier. Yeah, there's nothing in here on hacking. this is actually still pretty limited in terms of all the things they want to do. Just seen on Spectrum, they increased the player count to 100 on PTU. I'm gonna need a confirmation of that. That would be surprising. Okay, I guess that's double confirmation. They did this before. They tested the PTU, I think, with like either 80 players or 100 player counts, and it was interesting. That's pretty cool, though. I hope that they get good enough performance that can stick in live, but maybe it's just for later. They're testing. Maybe someday this game will let me live out my corpo life that Cyberpunk promised. Ah, God, I was so excited to be a corp. Just a corpo pig in Cyberpunk. Just today you were in a lobby with 78 people. Ooh, wowzers, that's pretty cool. Oh, this is really short. This is 2018. Okay. So this was written when the Apollo was designed. So do you guys want the medical gameplay, or do you want Death of a Spaceman, which tells us about death and stuff? Oh, George, you upgraded your membership right away. Wow. I'm glad you did that. Thank you for the support. Make a poll. That's so much work. It's 2 services. Anna, you can make a poll. Oh my gosh, Croncy. Get out of here, dude. What's with the love today? Y'all are blessing me. Croncy, man. How you doing today? Rated us over on Twitch. I promise YouTube I'm not just yelling out some random person's name. Thank you so much for the raid, buddy. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome. We're having a good old talk today, talking about the different mechanics and professions that Star Citizen has to offer. We've been working our way through repair, through general careers. We talked about the economy, and now we're touching on some medical stuff. Hope you enjoy some informative talks. But if anybody is in Twitch chat who doesn't know who Croncy is, I dropped that link, that shout out in the chat. Please go give him a follow. Great streamer, fantastic guy, puts on some great tonk battles, helped me with my charity the other week, and he was Twitter famous. That's right. I know somebody who's Twitter famous. I saw it. How you doing today, Kronz? They could be testing the servers for meshing. That would be interesting. Death of a Spaceman, please. Life of a Spaceman. Okay. Organizations. I don't think they have anything for organizations on here. Yeah, we got Grumpy Eye in here. We got Croncy in here. Ferrister's here now. Yo. It's like a little round table. If you don't love informative talks, what you doing? Seriously. You don't want more information poured all over your beautiful scalp. Then why are you even here? Gonna listen to your chats while I make some food. Cool. Enjoy the food, friend. Hopefully some good information for you. Ferrister, thank you for dropping by as well. We're choosing between Death of a Spaceman and medical gameplay. You were loved, Grumpy Eye. I feel the love. This whole community is full of love. Except for the angry people. They're very angry. Stop being so angry. Be happy. Soak me in info. Dip me in info. Like it was barbecue sauce. Also making food, Ferrister. I'm about to get off of here and go make food too. Or at least eat it. Death of a Spaceman, please. Very curious to hear your thoughts on that topic. Okay. First time checking in, soaking up information from the tomato. Welcome aboard, Jovial. Tomat information. Let's see. All right, we got a poll up on Twitch. What do you want to see? Death of a Spaceman coverage or medical gameplay coverage? The medical gameplay will be touching on basically injuries and like bleeding and stuff. Death of a Spaceman will be talking about permadeath, how permadeath is going to work, how you're going to go through your lives, and what's going to happen to your body as you do so. Also a little teaser. I actually made a video about it. They could probably... Death of a Spaceman. I don't know if it'll pop up if we search this. No, it doesn't. I don't remember what I called it. Medical gameplay. Hey, there's my tutorial. But we are looking for... I have a video that goes over this a little bit more nicely than I'm about to do it on this stream. Okay, do I really have to like type in my name? YouTube just doesn't like my videos, huh? I guess I just didn't name this video well enough because it's unfindable. I'll have to hold on a second. Here we go. Yeah, I need to change that title. That is not the proper title, and I can't drop the link in here. Okay, that's annoying. Let me look it up on here real quick. Sorry. And there it is. All right, so this link will give you a little bit more of a concise description of how Death of a Spaceman and medical gameplay will work. I would definitely check that out, maybe later. Do we have a poll going in YouTube? No? Thank you for launching that poll, by the way, Holston Coop. Appreciated. Have you done any like construction or crafting talk yet? No, we talked about base building briefly, but I didn't see anything too much on here about construction or crafting. Death of a Spaceman, very curious. Okay. All the info straight into your ear holes, injected into the ear hole. There's also a poll going on YouTube. Anybody who wants to contribute and let me know what you want to see. Death of a Spaceman is a topic with a lot of controversies around it and a lot of misinformation. Really? You hear a lot of... I guess, yeah, that's true. It's easy to think the wrong thing about how it works. Only I can start a YouTube poll. Okay. Thank you, Olsen Coop. Did you miss some salvage talk? A little bit, yeah. We talked about repair, and that touched a lot on salvage opportunities as well. That was probably at about 30 to 40 minutes into the stream. No, it was like an hour and a half, an hour, 15 minutes into the stream. You can go back and check. Monthly update video about medical gameplay. It's the one, I titled it How Demon Souls Affected Star Citizen or something like that, which was like I thought it would be interesting for people who don't like Star Citizen, but I'm probably going to change it as a kind of a preview of Death of Spaceman. Okay, so on the YouTube poll, Death of a Spaceman is winning, and on the Twitch poll, medical gameplay is winning. Oh boy. All right, let's take the total. Let's take the total. We've got 67% of 24 votes on Death of a Spaceman. Jesus, what is that? It's like 18? 67% or so? Two-thirds? 8 times 3 is 24, so 16. Yeah, so like 16 to 17 votes on YouTube and 9 votes on Twitch. 10 votes on Twitch. That's 26 votes on Twitch, or 26 votes total for Death of a Spaceman, and 22 votes total for medical gameplay. Okay, Death of a Spaceman. Where is it? Come back. Here we go. Probably just confused Souls players. Probably, yeah. Yeah. How grafting in Elden Ring affected Salvage and Star Citizen. Just like, what are you talking about, Space Tomato? Yeah, I'll have to change that. Okay, this is another long one. I'm probably gonna read... I don't even know how to split this up. I should have gone with the other one. Jeez. Okay. I'm going to skip around this, so bear with me. To achieve the sense of a living history, there needs to be a universe where time progresses, characters die, and new ones come to the front. Beyond this, I want people to have a sense of accomplishment when they complete a really difficult trading run or kill an especially infamous pirate. I hate the current game trend in single-player games where the game autosaves every 2 seconds, and if you die, you just start a few steps earlier. This makes you a lazy and sloppy player. Hey, don't attack me like that. I bullied my way through games like Mass Effect or Gears of War, good games, running in guns blazing, knowing if I died, I would always just respawn a few steps earlier. In Wing Commander or Privateer, you had to complete the mission to move on. There were no mid-mission saves. This created a sense of anxiety towards the end of the mission if you were badly damaged and your shields were low, but if you managed to limp home successfully, you felt a sense of accomplishment. Call out to EA. Without the risk of losing something you've worked hard towards, the sense of achievement is cheap. Yeah, Croncy, I'm hearing confirmation. 100 players in the PTU. The last single-player game I played that gave me an extreme sense of accomplishment in beating was Demon's Souls. This is where my video title came from. How they handled death and reincarnation of your ghost/body was consistent with their world in fiction, and because I couldn't save mid-level, clearing a level, especially after a difficult boss fight, was immensely satisfying. It was also one of the most frustrating games I've ever played. I think Demon's Souls was too much on the punishing end of the difficulty spectrum, but it really did remind me of the value of having something to lose when playing. You can't have light with dark, and you can't have risk without reward. What? I think he meant you can't have light without dark? In Squadron 42, this is pretty easy to achieve. You need to complete the mission to move forward, and you can't save while in space. You die, just go back to the previous save point, normally before you launched on the mission. The tricky part is really how failure is handled in the persistent universe in Star Citizen, as you can't just set back the game to an earlier point. The simple solution is that when your ship is just, so that's actually kind of key. I never thought about it that way, but they're trying to find a way to replicate getting set back, not entirely, but to the beginning of a level when you die. So they don't want to wipe out all your progress, they just want you to feel the pain. The simple solution is that when your ship is destroyed, you manage to eject and drift in space, where you are picked up and returned to the last planet/landing location to claim your new ship, sans any cargo and upgrades you had, and head out into space again. Yeah, 100 players in the PTU is real from what I'm hearing. This is the mechanic EVE Online players use, with the extra wrinkle that if another player blows up your escape pod, a stored clone of your character is activated, respawning your character and effectively making him or her immortal. In EVE, death is allowed for in the fiction and is balanced out by the cloning mechanism, which allows for loss of property but not your character's skills. The death mechanic in EVE is clever and well woven into the fiction, but I'm interested in making EVE 2.0 with I'm not interested in making EVE 2.0 with cockpits. Good. The first way I was reading that sentence, I was like, oh, don't say that. One of my goals with Star Citizen is to make it very visceral and real. I want to feel the effects of physical damage on my character, loss of limb or other mishaps that can happen in the danger of space. If my character has been through several wars, I want to see the scars on them. Perhaps a cybernetic arm because one was lost in a firefight or the wrong side of a dogfight. I want to be able to walk up to another player in a bar and see that he or she is a grizzled veteran with the battle scars to prove it. This is the kind of detail, texture, and immersion that I want to achieve with Star Citizen. Oh god, Jumptown with 100 people. Shall we hit that up on Wednesday? Are they running Jumptown this week? Losing millions in cargo is pretty painful. How much pain do they want to inflict? I mean, you can't just like lose millions in cargo and then be like, well, good thing I can get that millions back already. You kind of gotta make sure people aren't attacking, right? I don't know. I think you should lose the stuff if you can't protect it. You keen to get a large group of streamers together? Sounds cool, man. Sounds good. This is an old post. This is from 2013. This is old. This is the very basic first version of what they wanted to do with Death of a Spaceman. Let me just quickly double check this. Okay, so the real important part of this section is that when you're happy with how you look after the character creator, you will exit and return to the UEE recruitment office and officer. You'll fill in your name on the Mobiglass form and also specify your beneficiary in case of death. This is who your stuff will get passed on to after all of those deaths you go through. Don't start with me. Don't start with me. We're almost done. You're good with that? You're just saying, what's the next step forward? Dismemberment or impairment? We talked about that a little bit, right? With the thingy. No. Don't do it. This thing? Oh, Cybernetics. This is the kind of stuff you'll be getting when that stuff happens. What did I say? What did I tell you? So it's gonna get so hot in here now. All right, you're gonna have to have that in the background. All right, so if this is true, it's insane. It's slowly happening. It is the medical system that they put in kind of got it started last year. Okay, so skipping ahead a little bit. A player enters the persistent universe of Star Citizen either after completing Squadron 42 or by opting out before advanced training and going straight into the private sector. They're shouting from the rooftops, 100 players in PTU! Get in here! Most players should have some kind of basic insurance, whether it's a lifetime hull insurance for everyone that has backed so far, or a limited duration insurance that will come with later ship packages, please. Come on. A player will even be able to take out a small loan to help finance his or her exploits. You'll be able to run training simulations. Okay, this isn't, let's get to like the stuff. I guess here is probably where it starts. Insane streamer screams at Mosk. How about check the ties of the Moss calling so you can tell when it happens? I do. It just changes all the time. It is not easy to keep up with it. Let's see. Also, I can't really do anything about it. Like, I can know what time it's going to be, but it's still going to happen in the middle of my streams. Or the middle of my sleep. Or the middle of my recordings earlier today. If you lose a dogfight and your ship is going to blow, you have a few seconds to eject. If you manage to eject safely and someone doesn't blast your ejected avatar, you won't have even used... Oh, wait. I'm sorry. I skipped the stuff about lives. Let me go back up. Okay. When you venture out into space proper, you do put your character at risk, but it will be a long-term one, not an immediate one. I see each character you play having the ability to die multiple times before the character is finally put to rest. Think of this like lives in an old school arcade game. Science in the future is far more advanced than today. Medicine has the ability to bring people back from what would be considered dead in today's world. Check this out. I think I put this in my... one of the videos I did recently. I'm not going to be able to figure out which one it is. And respawning. Where is that page they made? Is this it? Okay. This page is much more up to date and will tell you everything you need to know about this whole respawning system, how it works, the lore behind it. It's crazy in depth. They have tons and tons of lore to explain why this system works the way it does. But essentially, you'll have these lives that you can keep going through, and as you respawn within those lives, you'll start to take permanent damages to your character model. This has probably been already put to your attention, but regardless, CIG is testing 100 players on the PT screen. I saw that. Pretty freaking cool. Okay, so if you manage to eject safely and someone doesn't blast your ejected avatar, you won't have used one of these lives that they talk about. You'll end up back up at the last planet you docked on with a new ship courtesy of system-wide insurance. You'll have lost your cargo and any upgrades. Okay, you'll have lost your cargo and any upgrades. If you don't manage to eject in time, or someone blasts your ejected character, which carries a harsh penalty if you do this in civilized space, your badly charred and almost dead avatar is recovered and you wake up in a med bay. This is also true if you're killed in a boarding action and your teammates can't or don't recover you. If this happens, it is assumed that your dead body was evacuated into space and then recovered. Every death creates wear and tear on your body. Depending on where you were hit and how you died, your character may require a new body part, which can either be cybernetic or organic. Hence the cybernetics that they've shown us. They've also shown us arms, but I only have the leg thing here. Eventually, after too many deaths, your character's body will just give out, and instead of waking up in a med bay, you'll be attending the funeral of your fallen character from the eyes of the beneficiary you specified when originally creating your character. Remember that part? If your old character has done something noteworthy, akin to an in-game achievement, his headstone might read, "Here lies Chris, discoverer of the Orion 2 jump point, slayer of the dread pirate Roberts, citizen of the First Order, and delayer of Squadron 42. I added that last one. It wasn't actually there. This was before then. There will also be opportunities to regain some lives or do a reset. Some of this could be through in-game missions, or it could just involve paying a lot of money to a specialist on a remote med planet that is doing stem cell research. Because of how Star Citizen works, the death of your character is not as catastrophic as it would be in a traditional RPG. If you want to think about it in terms of RPG conventions, the character that you are leveling up and customizing is really your spaceship. Your avatar is really just a visual representation of your in-game character. And because Star Citizen is skill-based, the loss of your character is more a cosmetic and textural outcome, especially as almost all of the assets you've worked hard to accumulate pass on to the beneficiary that you specified when creating your original character. So you're losing your character, not necessarily your progress. Now, they didn't have reputation working at this point in the development, so they don't have it mentioned here, but you'll also take a hit on your reputation, of course. Okay, never mind. I'm an idiot. Literally the next word. Reputation and faction alliances pass on to your new character, but slightly diminished. If your original character was a pirate, then the new one will also be aligned with pirates, but not as much, and will still be on the UEE watch list. So they were already planning reputation. I'm dumb. No slate will be wiped clean, but if you want to change your allegiances, this would be the start. This matches life, where the son of a criminal has to deal with the bias of people thinking he is going to be like his father, or a son of a cop is assumed to be on the side of law and order. What I like about this system is that it creates a sense of morality and history. No one's character will die right away. It will take some time to get to that point, but players will feel a sense of risk and so will think twice before needlessly risking their lives, as they don't want to burn through their lives. You'll also be able to see visually how battle-scarred someone is. Perhaps having an eye patch or a cybernetic arm could be a badge of pride that you've been to war and survived. When the character finally does the shuffle off the mortal coil, the player hasn't lost what he has really put into the game time to build his ships, equipment, and other assets. These pass to the next of kin, and there is a successor to carry on the family legacy or to avenge the deceased character. This will hopefully create a competition between players to see how much they can achieve in the lifespan of their current characters. The ones that achieve greatness via killing a Star Citizen unique NPC or taking part in a unique event, like discovering a new jump pointer system, are recorded in the Galactopedia and become part of the universe lore and history. I have no doubt that they will actually do that. I think they will full on put player names into the lore of the game, as long as they, the player name isn't like your mom or 69 420 Chris sucks or something. I don't know. But yeah, when it's laid out like this, and if it actually works like this, I think this system is really cool. I like the idea of it. It doesn't just apply to player characters though. For me, it's vital that there are non-player characters that are both unique and can be killed. In a single player game, no one minds that many other players have completed the same quest and killed the very same boss monster because the world only revolves around you. But if you take the same quest in an MMO, which is meant to be a shared persistent universe, knowing that the next party will kill the very same boss in the same spot breaks the suspension of disbelief. Most MMOs just accept this as the price you pay with having many thousands of players all expecting to be a hero. Not Star Citizen, says I. Star Citizen is different. Major NPCs will be unique, and if they're in a place where they can be killed, they will be killed only once. Think of it as a very hard to win achievement that one player or group of players in the game will ever achieve. If you manage to kill the Dread Pirate Roberts, that will be part of your legend, similar to discovering a new jump point or star system. Upon the death of a boss NPC, we won't respawn him or her, but there will be someone that steps in to fill the void. So the same area of space may now be terrorized by the Black Skull. Major NPC bosses will be a unique scalp for a player good enough to beat them, but almost all bosses will have someone waiting in the wings. Disgusting mouth noises, I'm sorry. This is kind of like Shadow of Mordor, right? In that you could kill people and then or not kill people and they would remember you. I think it was my 20 tips video I just put out. I talked about this stuff in there, and I actually left a link to the regeneration stuff in the description. Only one group gets to kill Dread Pirate Roberts. You know you're late with the subject, but it's called quantum because it works like quantum mechanics. When no players are there, NPC are virtual and reduced to probabilities. Well, there you go, Altair. Thank you. Makes fair enough sense. I'll go with that. You like a game where real players become legends? I've never heard of it happening. I would love to see it happen. I didn't know it was possible, but that's going to be really cool. I've never seen that really in a game before. While many people feel my proposed death mechanic may hamper their role-playing of a character they have created an elaborate personal backstory for, I would counter that. It actually will enhance it. There's no reason not to have the same backstory, but now it's the story of your present character and his or her descendants. How many famous people are made and driven by the accomplishments of their parents? EVE Online's lore is made up entirely by its community's actions. That is cool. That is awesome. Rest of players can kill it on down to the janitor made captain. EVE Online has heroes and villains. That's really cool. I didn't get to play enough EVE to really know about that stuff. It kind of happens in Elite too, but more based on if big in the community, right? Okay. Yeah, so it's kind of like the Nemesis system from the Mordor Shadow games. All right, let's go through the QA of this real quick. I'm gonna take the interesting parts of the QA because I need to go and eat dinner. So what qualifies as death? Not ejecting before your ship blows up, taking a headshot during boarding, having your ejected player or escape pod targeted and destroyed while floating. How many lives will I get? The exact number of lives will be balanced as development of the game progresses. The intention is to allow multiple deaths before you're properly dead. So expect to wake up in the medbed at least half a dozen times, if not more. See, I always quote 6, but I feel like it should be around 9 or 10. And getting to this point won't be common unless you're participating in a lot of boarding actions or flying in areas where there is no law and order. So bounty hunters and pirates, really. Mercenary people. And maybe a couple miners. That Quantinium is dangerous. Please note that it will not ultimately be a single static counter. Taking different risks and dying in different ways will impact your overall survivability at different rates. Remember, the key to Star Citizen is visceral realism. So while the system works this way under the hood, there's not going to be a life counter at the bottom of your screen. What happens in a disconnect? When you disconnect, the server attempts to take you to autopilot. If you're in a space instance and close enough to a hostile, the server will attempt to gain enough separation to enter autopilot. If it's successful, the server will then place your ship back on the planet you last landed on. If not, and you haven't managed to reconnect to your AI-controlled ship before the hostile destroys your ship, it is assumed you ejected successfully and it will be returned to the last planet you landed on. If you have insurance, we'll have a new hull waiting for you. We will monitor players' disconnects, and if we feel that you are gaming the system, we may enact a death penalty on you and decrease your internal life count. Have I seen that the PTU has 100 players? I have. Pretty cool. What are the penalties for targeting an ejected player? I imagine it'll just be some pretty bad crime stat stuff. How long do I float in space before being rescued? They don't have a clear answer, it looks like. You just have a rescue beacon. What happens with a headshot in boarding? A headshot is more likely to be fatal than any other injury. Boarding a ship is an extremely risky proposition. You can gain a valuable prize by capturing another player's property, but you're putting yourself at the most risk at the most risk possible. How will you counteract griefing? We believe this system will actually disincentivize griefers. If you're a player who wants to camp out in a safe area to kill new players, you'll quickly have a bounty on your head, and legal PvP will be authorized on you. If you target ejected players, lethal force on your ejected pilot can be authorized too. Attempting to grief new players will probably hasten your character's death a lot quicker than the new players you're trying to terrorize. We feel that by giving harsh penalties to people that target ejected players, allowing most injuries to be survivable, letting players upgrade for survivability to their specification will help reduce the incentive to grief. But we're also aware that everything will need to be balanced once the game goes live. So that's our most important promise. We will continue to balance this system so that it works rather than allowing it to become a tool for players who want to make the game difficult for others. Griefing will be a problem. There's like literally no doubt. It's impossible for it not to be a problem. It's going to be a problem. They're just going to have to continuously try to find ways to counteract that with this system. I can link to you the segment of articles that this is working with, but you're going to need to click through some of the ones at the bottom to find the Death of a Spaceman one. Is there any way to opt out of the death system? No. Will multi-person crews be able to escape the destruction of their ships? Yes. Can I rescue or tractor in an ally? Yes. What happens if I am captured rather than rescued? If your escape pod is captured by another player or NPC, your game will continue, but there will be penalties depending on your situation. If you're a criminal and you are delivered to a prison planet, for instance, you will need to pay off the authorities to escape. If you're sold into slavery, you will need to buy your freedom. I think that those things will probably be determined before you actually get there, so you don't have to just sit in a jail cell for 10 minutes to get flown somewhere, but not really much knowing. Are you concerned that the fear of permanent death will scare players away from combat? No. We're building a combat game and are going to be doing everything possible to encourage players to dogfight and otherwise battle each other. In most dogfights, even if your ship is destroyed, you won't lose a life, as it's very likely you will eject in time. Waking up in a med bay with a new limb should be a rare occurrence unless you really like to live in the most dangerous and unregulated parts of the galaxy. The fear of permanent death will cause some anxiety, which will add to the overall experience, but it will be more than countered by the potential rewards. In a world where everyone is vulnerable, no one has an advantage. It's very idealistic. I'm not sure how it's going to play out. It's idealistic. It also sounds really cool, and I hope they can get somewhere close. Will I need to play through Squadron 42 a second time with a new character? No. Boy. That's a nope. All right, but that's kind of the basics of the Death of a Spaceman system, at least as far as it was 9 years ago. But things may have changed since then. Not a fan of this death system. Just clone me up, fix my injuries. Well, that's kind of what they're saying happens, right? Like the regeneration process is just cloning, basically. It's a weird sort of cloning, but you get cloned 9 times and you get sent out. You just get told that you don't have that many more clones existing. A lot more people ditch during dogfights than just go till one dies. Yeah, and that's also kind of a product of how bad the game is, and when it comes to dogfighting, like you just blow up out of nowhere now. Whereas once the damage map starts to be more heavily implemented, you start kind of getting disabled and losing parts of your ships and stuff. Don't remember any permanent death mechanic being any good in any game. Have you ever seen a system like this before? MW. Pointing with an expiration date. Right. The death system is very similar to Chris Roberts' other game, Brute Force on Xbox. Wait, Brute Force? Brute Force on Xbox that wasn't Chris Roberts. There's no way. No way was that Chris Roberts. Who are you? Get out of here. Brute Force game. Holy crap! Brute Force was made by Digital Anvil? It looks like it was after Chris Roberts left, though. But that's the company he started, right? I loved this game. Oh my gosh. Oh. I don't remember it looking this bad. Oh boy. Oh, I freaking adored this game. Brutus. Next stream? I don't know. But my gosh, this game looks bad. I used to think it was so beautiful. Wow. Didn't know that Digital Anvil made that. CAG has to realize that they aren't making a perfect games. Bugs will kill you or cause your death. I see a lot of players asking for life refunds. Yeah, and I think they do realize that. I think they're probably part of the reason that this is such a forgiving system is that they realize that people are going to have trouble with it. Being a system in general, like you're seeing people not really being excited for this death mechanic, but also people are going to die from really frivolous, stupid stuff. And building in a little more forgiveness into this system, I think helps with that kind of stuff. That was a badass game. It was. Just looked up a video of it recently and was shocked how bad it looked. Yo, I hate remakes. I'm sick of remakes, but I would love another Brute Force. Maybe a sequel. If medical could add back to the death counter replacing limbs, I believe actually you can. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure they say it in here somewhere, but you can add back. Let's see. Higher quality spheres made out of advanced materials, public to encourage. Only one copy of an imprint can exist. Update imprints over time. If an individual will no longer be able to be regenerated, regen, cycle, gap, wiped, dead, kill. Ibrahim sphere, no. Regeneration. They've definitely talked about the ability to add more lives back. I don't remember where, but it is a thing. So even with this system being as harsh, or as forgiving rather, as it is, they are still also talking about the possibilities of people being able to prolong these lives and extend and add more. They're really, really trying to be kind to people who don't want this while still allowing the people who do to have it. And maybe that's not a good look. Maybe they should go hard one way or the other. But they are trying to give everybody what they want. And that ultimately has been what's caused this game to take so long. So maybe that's not the best path. Yeah, I can't find it, but it does definitely talk about how if you have higher quality spheres, your lives will last longer. I would totally throw down some credits for extra medical work to be done. Yeah, I think that's a thing. I hear that the PTU is running on 100 players. That's pretty cool. That's pretty freaking neat. I'm excited for it. I hope that sticks and goes to live, but they've done it before. We'll have to see if they keep it up. Anyways, guys, that's about it for me today. I've already gone it's almost an hour longer than I was planning on. These things take a little while, though. Thank you, everybody, for sticking around, hanging out, and checking out this stream. This is I'll have a big announcement for this next week, but Mondays are going to be discussion-based streams for me, almost entirely. I'll jump in game a couple times, maybe if we have like a feature or something. But Monday is going to be monthly reports, roadmap roundups, information released from CIG, lore deep dives, stuff like this. I want Mondays to be a place where we can all just come chat and learn more about these games rather than just watching them played. And then Wednesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays will be more of that gameplay kind of stuff. So if you're into that stuff, make sure to set a reminder on Mondays, and I will see you back here next week with the redesign of the stream. We're super excited to introduce it. I think people are going to like it. Still waiting for them to announce retroactive ship insurance. There is a 0% chance someone will be able to permanently lose a ship they paid for with real money without being able to get it back. There better be. Shadow Grant, thank you so much for the sub on Twitch with that Amazon Prime sub. I appreciate the support, my friend. I hope you enjoyed this stream. I hope you've enjoyed all of this, and I hope you had a lovely weekend. Let's see. All right. Let's see who's on. Ooh, wow. 3.5 thousand people watching Star Citizen right now, huh? Look at all these people playing. All right, we're gonna raid somebody new. I don't know who this is, but they're playing Star Citizen, and they got a whole bunch of people watching. So let's drop in there, drop some tomates in chat. Let them know who the real tomat is. Why did I type that in? Leo leopard, not leopard. You dummy. Dummy. Get ready for that stream, everybody. Get ready to jump over there for that raid. I got a sub. I can't see. Crap, I can't even see where it came from on here. Oh no, it's just a Shadow Grant still is there. Okay, cool. Well, everybody, I'd like to thank you so much on Twitch for sticking around. YouTube, you as well. I hope you have a fantastic day, everybody. Thank you so much for coming and checking out all this information dump. I hope it was thick enough. And go check out the recent video I put out. It's a monthly report talking about the development over the last month, and it's got some good stuff in there. Oh, also, as Anno is informing me, best place to support is on Patreon. So if you are a fan and you like the stuff, you want exclusive videos, check out Patreon. It's fun. It's cool. It's great. Grumpy Eye, I'll catch you later, buddy. Appreciate you. Have a good one, folks. Much love. Just started watching. Well, I'll see you on Wednesday, my friend. I will see you on Wednesday.